What's up, everyone? It is time for another episode of Allcraft. My name is Rich. I'm going to be your host, and straight back from our episode at BlizzCon, we got Asmongold and Hodded, and our guest for today's episode, none other than Sodapop. And we're going to jump right into it. There's plenty of idle chit chat we could have, Chance, right now about BlizzCon and all of that. But straight up, let's just jump in right now and start talking about legacy servers. I don't think that there's anything else that we should talk about. How we just got to do it. We got to do it. If you haven't been paying attention, guys, they announced that they are working on legacy servers for World of Warcraft. Details still somewhat in the air, so I think a big focus of this episode should be talking about what we want to see, because they're obviously they're listening. I mean, I never thought that this would happen. They listen to the community. It is happening. So, Chance, we'll just start at the beginning. What was the announcement actually like for you to hear that this was going to be happening?
So hold on, let me mute. I'm in. Every single person that I know, all my friends, they were told beforehand that Legacy server was coming out. Asmongold was even told, but he didn't even believe it fully. I was told as well, but I was told in a way where the person was trolling me, and when it actually was announced, like I had no expectations of it actually being announced. I was in tears. I was in shock. And me and Asmon were still talking about it. It's still hard to accept that it really is going to happen. We don't know how it's going to happen. We don't know when it's going to happen. But the fact that Blizzard has announced it at BlizzCon means 100% it is going to happen, which is amazing. It's still hard to accept.
It's really weird. Like I remember, they told me ahead of time, and we were in the lobby, and Rich and Hodded can attest to this. As soon as I heard it, I jumped out of my fucking chair and I ran around the entire hotel lobby. And then I came to the realization, like, wait, did I just get trolled? Is this actually happening or not? And I ran back. I'm like, did I just make a fucking idiot of myself? And I'm like, no, apparently not. It was totally real. I'm still like absolutely amazed about the whole thing.
You actually got up out of your chair and started running around in circles like a dog would, for a treat. It was pretty fucking insane. But I thought they were trolling you. I actually thought that they were trolling you the whole time. And the thing was going into that, I already knew every other announcement. That was the only thing that I didn't know. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, why would they just be telling us this now? And I mean, the thing is the main thing is what are we going to complain about now, right? We need to find a whole new thing to complain about.
Now we're going to complain and just tell them to hurry up.
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it's going to take too long.
Finish it.
That's a really good first point. That's a really good first point to bring up as well, because the thing is they've made it pretty clear that, yes, they're working on it. They're not 100% sure how the implementation is going to work, and they have no idea when it's going to come out. We actually had a chance to talk about this to Sodapop when we were at BlizzCon. We had a little bit of a panel for Allcraft, and we
I was there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was BlizzCon was crazy. Even if you took out legacy servers, I still think this was one of the most hyped BlizzCons that we've had in a little while.
Yep.
I mean, this is the first. This is the first expansion, World of Warcraft expansion we've had at BlizzCon since WoD, because Legion was done at Gamescom. So that in and of itself was really hype. But we had a chance to talk about legacy servers for about 20 minutes, and the main thing that we said was we kind of wanted to see somewhat of a system where you have an expansion come out. It hits that inevitable lull, because even in Legion, for example, Legion has had nonstop content thrown at it. You're having patch after patch after patch. There's always stuff to do. But at the end of the day, even now, we still have Antorus coming out, but still feels like we're in a lull. This would be a great time to see legacy servers come out. I hope personally, and I wonder what you guys think. I would like to see something like that happen with Battle for Azeroth. All of a sudden, legacy comes out, and then it's somewhat progressive. Every time we hit a lull, you see vanilla go to BC, go to Wrath. Now, what do you think?
We're in a lull?
Yeah, a content lull.
Not the emote. Not the emote. A lull. A low point.
Oh, a wall.
No,
a low.
No, a low. Because how's a wall a low point? It's supposed to be a high point, so you can't get
low. Oh, a low.
No, okay. Not a lull. Are you doing this on purpose?
Well, I'm confused. I'm sorry. A lull?
A lull. Oh, yeah, I'm going on Wikipedia.
Dictionary.com. It's a low point, okay? A low point, a boring point, a less interesting point.
It's the horse latitudes. The horse latitudes.
So
there's
just
no
forgive
wind
me.
in the sail.
I am a little bit sick, and I am at this point where I'm like always like I want to sneeze and I can't.
No, I understand.
Seriously, it's been going on all fucking day. It's really been awful. Yeah. So
Is it like
You're fine. You're fine.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm a little sick. But yeah, no, I'm really excited about all the content available, man. Like the new expansion coming out, and then also the classic server coming out. Like that's a lot of fucking content at once.
It's like 2 games. I mean, a lot of once. It's like 2 games in one BlizzCon. It's insane.
The new expansion definitely comes out way before classic, though, right?
Oh yeah, I would assume so. I think that they're probably going to bring out the next expansion towards the end of the next year, and then they'll probably bring out classic late 2019. Hopefully not 2020, but somewhere around there.
People were asking me for like predictions for dates. I predict Antorus comes out the 28th of November.
They said that.
Yeah, they already announced
It's not a prediction. It's not a prediction.
Hey, what's up? What's up? All right, so that's one that's right. I think that we see the next expansion like July, like early July, late June.
Okay. I mean, I think that might be a little bit early, but
You think it's too early? That's kind of what I'm feeling, though. That's kind of what I'm feeling.
So, so let me ask, like, Chances, has it made you want to play live servers more with the announcement of legacy servers? Has it like made you want to log on and play more? Or
Bro, I'm logged on and fucking Lights Hope, dog.
Okay, so no, not really.
Well, I do want to play retail as well, because I mean, actually, after playing Lights Hope a little bit, like it makes me want to play retail a little more, because there is some really, like, God, dueling in 60s pissing me the fuck off. Like the gear differences, because I'm only pre-raid best in slot. I'm not even like tier 2 and whatnot. And these guys have like crazy PvP gear. I'm worthless. But no, I really want to play Lights Hope, because I want to practice. I want to, when legacy servers actually come out, I want to know exactly what the fuck I'm doing. I have a good memory of how to level and how all that works. But my memory when it comes to actual 60 and, you know, the attunement quests and all that jazz, it's a little blurry.
Yeah, mine is too. Like, I don't remember a lot of that stuff. You're kind of just like using it like a PTR, kind of.
Yep, exactly. So I got
sense.
So I'm playing a lot of that right now, and I do want to get back into retail. Isn't there like one more patch until?
Yeah, well, so like, I mean, right now, besides Antorus, which is a new raid, we're probably not going to see a whole lot of extra world content in Legion unless there's something that they didn't announce, which I think they probably would have if they were going to at BlizzCon. So for a lot of people, besides the new raid, Legion is pretty much over. They've already gone through pretty much all of the content. Obviously, you're going to have new PvP seasons and things like that kind of refresh content. But it's not like they're going to bring in a new level of Argus. I don't know if you've done Argus at all, but
not really.
Not really. Yeah, well, it's basically just 3 new zones. It's really cool, but I mean, it's at the end of the day the same stuff, right? And I'm not really thinking that a lot of people, they're probably already feeling a little bit kind of bored with the content that's already out, and Taurus will reinvigorate a lot of them. But I think at this point, people are pretty much just looking towards the next expansion.
I totally agree. I totally think that is the case. The thing that I want to talk about, though, a little bit, and like you've already said, Chance, that like you're thinking about getting ready for vanilla, but all of that, they could implement it in a really crazy, weird way that would throw that all out the door. How do you want to see it be implemented? Obviously, it's in the future, but what do you want to see?
So if they release legacy servers, I really want them to go with a polling system. Like I want what? Okay, sorry, your screen went black for a second. Scared me. Like I want. Too. Yeah, I want. I know everyone has their different opinions. I have my opinions about how things should be done. Example. Like in vanilla, you could only loot 1 corpse at a time. Some people would prefer it if they would integrate the loot all mechanic, where you loot everything in that vicinity into vanilla. And you know, everyone has their opinion. Poll things like that about whether or not they would want it. I would want to see war games added to vanilla. I don't know if I necessarily want to see arena, but the fact that like the ability to war game people, I would want that. The PvP system is complete dog shit, and I mean, you can keep it as classic as you want, but reality checks in. The people who actually do the farming and whatnot, they want it. A lot of them want to change, dude, because it's just getting like a bunch of Chinese gold farmers they cheat the system. It's really bad.
So you want quality of life changes in the
I actually personally don't think I want that many changes. I just know that it should be pulled.
Okay, well, what would be a change in Legacy that would make you not want to play it?
A change in, like, if they added LFR.
What if they did a poll for LFR and the poll won?
I wouldn't, like, that's the thing. The people that are making the server, they've said multiple times, or they've said before, that the team they're going to hire is a team of people that loved vanilla. They love where it came from. They have a passion for it. Shit, it may even be the NOS team. I would love that.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
Right? That being said, I would imagine the team wouldn't even fucking make that an option. Because you're right. A bunch of casuals might vote that in.
And like, I know that you didn't like transmog. I mean, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people would probably vote on transmog too.
No transmog.
And that's the thing. Like, that's why I don't think that a polling system would work. And I think that it could be used against
I would bet my life, though, if they did. I would bet my life, though, if they polled transmogging, it wouldn't win.
Really?
I think it would.
I think it absolutely would.
I think it could. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. I think it could, though. So, okay, let's talk about the system a little bit more, because that is definitely an interesting idea. We've seen it happen in, I think it was RuneScape, right? I feel like this is the game that kind of had, they rolled out a new copy that you could consider their retail version, and then everyone's like, this sucks, we want vanilla back. And they basically went back to their, I have no idea how these lights came on. I'm in a closet at the Blizzard Arena right now, full disclosure. I'm literally in a closet. So they went and they had a polling system, and it was super successful, but their player base is much more targeted, I think I would say, than World of Warcraft.
I think we're also forgetting that, of course, if you were to poll every person who plays WoW, whether or not they wanted transmogging, it would win. But you're also not taking into consideration how many of those people will not go to the polls and vote. They won't, because they're casuals. They won't even know where the fuck to find the polls. The people who actually care about not having transmog will sure as hell take the time to vote for it not to be there.
I think that people voting against something is less likely than people voting for it. I disagree. Really? Why do you say that?
I think Chance is 100% right here with the fact that the people who don't want it are usually they're the more vocal minority. The thing is you usually feel okay. Like, look at this example. Like that, right? Yeah, like, think about it. Have you ever gone on Yelp and been like, "Yo, that restaurant was awesome"?
There's a 1 in 9 from positive feedback to negative feedback. You're more likely to get negative feedback. You're 9 times more likely to get negative feedback than you are positive feedback.
I feel like the voting system's somewhat the same way. I feel like the people who don't want it feel more strongly about it than the people who want it, because the people who want it, they already have it on retail. They're kind of complacent. And I think that maybe the one place where we're assuming too much is saying that the people that don't want it are the people who want it are more casual. Who knows? I think a majority in my mind would be. But who knows if they would actually be able to figure out where the poll is or whatever. Maybe you just put the poll behind a raid boss. Then all of a sudden you really have to...
Yeah, you have to kill KT in order to vote. I like the sound of that.
And then there's other things like updating the interface, right? So a realistic thing is all of the top players, if they don't update anything in the game and they leave it as is, all the top players are going to have a bunch of fucking add-ons, because that's how it works. So it's a matter of, does Blizzard just make their own? Because the top players are going to have to get the add-ons to compete as is.
But did Vanilla have add-ons? No.
Personally,
it did?
Personally, I actually want them to keep it as is. I want them to keep it the shitty-ass interface. And yeah, you get add-ons because that some, like, all the bad players won't actually get the add-ons, and it's kind of like having an advantage. But there's still, two sides of the spectrum that you have to look at.
Oh, right? Yeah, and add-ons do artificially increase the gap between players that know a lot about the game and players that don't, because not only do the players that know a lot about the game understand it better fundamentally, but they also have add-ons to help them. So it makes sense to want to have add-ons a little bit controlled. I think that there are certain add-ons, like, I don't know if you remember.
Add-ons?
Well, yeah, I mean, because you remember the add-on in Wrath of the Lich King, like the AVR thing, where you're able to pretty much like predict exactly where every single thing was going to happen on like FasterGrout and FutureSide.
Oh yeah.
I
remember that.
And they broke that, right? And they've broken other add-ons too. Like in Nighthold, they've broken a lot of the weak aura support, so they can't use weak auras to trivialize fights. And it's been much more common for Blizzard to do that, to try and kind of rein in the add-ons, because people use them so much now to determine what they're going to do and to help them play.
So they also too they have increased the amount of security. They like, I think they announced that they did something along the lines of taking some of the stuff that they have with Overwatch to protect that game and actually moved it over to WoW.
I mean, look what happened with subraces though. Like Void Elves got leaked. Anyway.
I honestly, and this is a conspiracy theory, and I think I've said it to you guys before. I feel like if they really don't want something to be leaked, they want to be leaked. I honestly believe that in this day and age, but I think that sometimes the information getting out, sometimes the data mining getting out generates a lot of hype. I mean, you have idiots like us talking about it, like all of a sudden, and like, look, like right now we have like 9,000 people watching us talk about a thing that they announced. So, I think it is good for the game sometimes for that to get out. Maybe I'm just a crazy dude wearing a tinfoil hat, but I honestly think that they want a lot of that to get out. My bigger question though, because I want to talk about vanilla a little bit more. So I'm kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier. Do you want to see the server progress, Chance? Like, do you want, so you want to see basically it rolls out as vanilla, but one day all of a sudden we're in BC.
Yes. I mean, a lot of people have talked about how they want it to be done. I think it should be classic WoW. It progresses to BC, and by the time that goes to BC, new servers come in, fresh new vanilla servers. And I guess some of those vanilla servers merge in some way, because if you think about long term, if you just keep adding servers, it's going to get ridiculous. So you have to think of a long term solution to it. I guess you could merge some of those vanilla servers and make them all BC, and then eventually those older vanilla servers will be brought in. Those will go BC, and the BC servers will go to Wrath. Progression servers, right?
I agree with that. One thing that I think, because that was my initial idea, and I think that I had a comment on one of my videos.
That's like everyone's idea.
Yeah, basically. And they suggested to make the Burning Crusade server and allow people to level there, and then also allow people to move their characters over from the vanilla server to the Burning Crusade server. So players that don't want to progress into Burning Crusade can still stay on vanilla, but people that do can move their characters over to the Burning Crusade server and continue their game there. And I think that would probably be a little bit better, because it wouldn't force the, the progression on the players. And because we're talking about something that has to do with, playing an old game and nostalgia and everything, I think that if you force that progression on players, there could be some people who would kind of resent that.
Well, I think didn't we
ask Blizzard, like, a little bit, like, if they had planned progression servers for Classic in our interview? And they said that it depends on, like, everything's in the air, but it kind of depends on how the games, like, how Classic servers are received or perceived.
It sounds to me like Blizzard has agreed to do Classic servers, but has no fucking idea where to go with it.
Yeah, I think that's just about right.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Which is actually cool.
That's amazing, because that gives us abilities to, like, hopefully maybe direct things in a certain way.
This conversation right now, like, really fucking matters. Things like this really fucking matter.
That's why it's exciting. And we're going to do a Q&A at the end of the show. So, guys, be vocal if there is anything that you want to see, because, honestly, like, odds are someone is watching right now from Blizzard. Multiple people. They're probably all huddled in a room right now watching and taking notes. But the main thing is one of the things with it not necessarily being super thought out at this point, when you start talking about a server that progresses and having two different servers, I think by the time that we get to legacy servers, the plan needs to be pretty clear whether or not it's going to be progressive. Because even if, like, a server doesn't necessarily have BC on it and it only has vanilla on it, but it is the server that does progress, I think that needs to be set up ahead of time, because some people are going to want to stay in vanilla forever. Personally, I would love to play vanilla for like a year, maybe a year and a half, and then I want it to change to BC, and I want to take the same tune over, and then I want to play BC with it. That's personally how I feel, but I understand that there are going to be people who want it to be legit vanilla forever. So I think those servers, when we hit the ground, need to already be separated from each other.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, like, you look at all these different opinions on the situation, and people are very angry about their opinion is right and every other one is wrong.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the
pretty
big
nasty
reasons.
out there.
Yeah, absolutely. People are getting very, very upset, very angry because this is like their main chance, right? So everybody's putting everything out there. And that's why I think it's very important for people to be as constructive as possible. Like you see some people who are just complete assholes about it, and it's like nobody's going to listen to an asshole. Like that, it's like you don't want to agree with an asshole because in a way it kind of makes you feel like an asshole too. And and that's why I think it's important for. I think Blizzard is going to listen, and they are going to make the decisions based on that. But what I really am worried about is Blizzard making some sort of a change, some sort of a decision that alienates the players that they're trying to attract with legacy servers. So
that's the thing. If they hire a team like Nestarius, no dumb change is going to happen that would ruin it. They might be like, I prefer like AoE looting. If that's going to ruin your fucking vanilla experience, you're a fucking loser. Like that is the most minor change in the world.
I think it's dumb too.
That will ruin your experience. But overall, if they add LFR, that could ruin it.
Well, I think there's absolutely gray area, right? But I think the best thing to do is to not open the door for the QOL changes, like different quality of life changes, different things like that. Because I do fear that if they add that in, at some point or another, there will be something that happens that does alienate players. And maybe it might not be in the first month or the first 6 months, and maybe the servers won't even really last that long for, a consistent population. But assuming that they do, if they do make some sort of a change that alienates those players, assuming that it'll be like a quality of life change or something that makes the game easier, it would be almost impossible to go back on it. And it could essentially turn the people that they're trying to get back against them. And that's why I feel like it's so dangerous to have any sort of changes. Like the way that I look at it is I would rather have the looting bug where like you got stuck kneeling down for like 30 minutes.
That is,
you remember that.
I'd rather have I do want to happen.
Yeah, I'd rather have that in the game and everything else be the same. Even no AoE looting, and I love AoE looting. It's amazing. But if there was a vote, I would vote against it because
if I had a vote, I would probably vote against it too in the end.
Well, I would vote against being able to vote for it. Like that's what it would really come down to.
Oh, you would vote against being able to vote for it.
Oh, I don't like the idea of polling at all. Like I think it's a.
Okay. I don't think I do either.
You're gonna have the prisoners running the asylum. Like you got people that don't know anything about the game and they're just clicking buttons voting. Like, doesn't that make you nervous?
It does make me nervous, but in a sense, what I'm not nervous about is I know that most of the people, like when I do a poll in my stream, I know that a very small fraction of people actually vote in my polls. That being said, if World of Warcraft did a poll, I know a very small fraction of the player base will actually vote. And I know the people that are going to vote are the passionate ones who are not going to make the wrong decisions overall.
That's
the way I look at it. But you're right.
And
you're right.
I think
it's only possible. So in that sense, it is still scary.
Well, like the thing is,
I want to take that.
Ever since the classic announcement, like I don't know if you guys saw Reddit, but World of Warcraft went to the #1 overall on Reddit with 80,000 upvotes.
That's right.
Saying classic servers are coming back, and there was so much hype on the whole internet about classic servers coming back that if you add polling onto the whole thing, and then like the poll gets leaked or linked, and I don't know, it could be manipulated. It's rough. The whole polling.
You could have retail server players voting on it. I just feel
have you guys played any 60 recently?
No, I wish.
You haven't played? I've got like 4 60s.
Yeah, 4 6. How long does it take?
I played 60 on Nestarius. It can take. I mean, if you know what you're doing, it can take like 3 weeks. I have 2 60 rogues. I have 2 60 druids, and I had 3. I had 1 on Phoenix too, but that was times 7 XP, so it doesn't really count.
Jeez, that's insane.
So
yeah, I've got a lot of 60s that I play.
Yeah, I mean the thing is I haven't done it since I only play Blizzard servers, so I haven't done it since I was a dumbass, an even dumber. How old were we?
I started like late in the vanilla. I was 16.
Yeah, I started about 16 as well.
I was 15 or 14.
We're all probably teenagers, basically.
We're all pretty much. We're more or less the same age, all of us. So yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm a little bit older than you, but the thing is I was an idiot. I didn't know what I was doing at all. And when I'm actually looking back and thinking about things, I just, God damn, I hope I learned how to keep the lights on.
I thought auto attacking was an ability of its own, and I kept pressing it, and like we were landing with my friends, and my friend looks at me, it's like, Alan, what are you doing? It's like, what? I'm pressing ability. It's like, dude, that's an auto attack ability, and I felt pretty stupid, but that was vanilla, right? We were all kind of noobs.
Yeah, well, the other thing is I keep having
Everybody
these flashbacks like of things that we're getting, like it's like, oh my god, we have weapon proficiencies, like we have hit, we have wizard oil, like I keep remembering,
oh my
like
god.
I'm so excited for wizard oil, like I don't know why, that's one of the dumb things I'm really excited for, but to close the one idea that we brought up, and that's the quality of life changes, because I feel like that's one of the biggest conversation points right now. Technically, I think if they put them in, it will change the way that the game works, right? If you're going back, it all of a sudden isn't a pristine server. You're actually taking to make auto loot work, to make LFR work, for example, God forbid, you need to actually take newer implementations of the game. Like you need to actually take code that is there now. And I think once that happens, you open up a can of worms. So I'm actually against the polling system. I'm against having any quality of life changes. I think vanilla should be vanilla, and if they go to BC, it should be BC. That's my opinion. Where does everyone fall on that? Just to wrap that up.
So like bring in all the bugs, all the issues. Don't update the UI. Don't give the new character models or an option for the new character models.
I think they would fix the
That's
bugs.
right.
Because like they want to bring
some
Blizzard
bugs
quality,
that are
right?
game breaking. Yeah, some bugs that are game breaking. Like literally, if you do this, you fall through the world and die. You do this, the server crashes. Obviously, those things need to be fixed. But besides that, I wouldn't want to see anything else.
I want it all.
I don't think anyone wants any major changes. None.
Okay.
No major changes.
So we're on the same page there.
Yeah, and no major changes. The only changes I would want to see are extremely minor. Extremely minor.
Like auto looting or like
updating the
you
UI.
Were talking more about the PvP system as well. I mean, that seems kind of big.
Okay, you're right. The one thing I would want to see changed that is major is the God, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I want the PvP system like reworked.
Right. How do you want it changed?
It's so bad. I would. Oh, jeez, Christ. I don't even want to give an opinion on it.
Really?
Okay.
It's bad. I mean,
well, if you look at PvP,
you don't like it. Yeah.
It is garbage. It is fucking horrendous.
It's worse on Gulch, really.
Does it bother you? Does it bother you more that the PvP system is kind of? It's like only one person can get Grand Marshal, like the exclusive nature to it, or just the way that you farm it?
I think one person getting Grand Marshal
I would
should be sick.
I personally have not done the recent grind on any of my 60s to have a strong opinion on it. I've only talked with people who I trust, and they have told me that there's no skill involved. It's just grinding mindlessly, and whoever gets signed up for wars, like whoever's turn it is to get the next piece of gear. And every single one of them who actually does it and is doing it on private servers, all of them have told me they hate it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be that's probably true. And I remember there was always rotation back in the day. I think one of the only things that could maybe make that better on the official servers is that there'd be more people. So it would be hard to get a rotation going because it would be hard to control.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have very strong opinions about vanilla. I personally, when it comes down to it, I care more about the opinions of the people I've talked to, like that are really actually like playing it. When it comes to like the PvP system and whatnot, it really is bad. And I mean, it is vanilla. It is extremely nostalgic, and everyone fucking loved it. But it is so.
I think implementing arenas and war games.
I don't know about arenas.
Like you don't think so? You don't think arenas?
Maybe
will be
like think like RBGs. Maybe
I think the changes that should be looked at are changes that occurred within vanilla, right? I mean, like, so do you remember whenever they only had 8 debuff slots? Remember that?
I'm sorry, say again?
Do you remember whenever they only had 8 debuff slots?
Yes.
Right, so that was changed within vanilla. So, like, the big question for the servers, like, should it have 8 debuff slots or 16? And I think discussions like that are absolutely something that should be talked about.
Yeah, debuff slots.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's a lot of changes that were made inside vanilla that have a lot of things to talk about, just about those.
To explain to a lot of you that don't know, there's only so many debuff slots on the boss. So, for example, as a feral druid, you're not allowed to use rip.
Wait, what? I didn't.
You Yeah, there's only so many debuff slots available on the boss, and some spells have prioritization. For example, Hunter's Mark will always be on the boss. Like that has prioritization.
Curse
of Elements has prioritization. Rogues cannot use Deadly Poison. You don't use that because it takes up a debuff slot. Yep. Welcome to vanilla, motherfucker. That's how it works.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what do you think they should do?
Well, I mean, the thing is, a lot of the bosses are balanced around only having a certain amount of debuff slots. So, I mean, you can increase it to increase gameplay, but I would want the difficulty to stay the same. I don't know if they could fix that. I come down to a point of just don't leave it alone. Or I'm sorry, just leave it alone. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to look at it. I'd like to see because Molten Core and BWL had 8 debuff slots, and then whenever ZG came out, that's whenever they increased the amount of debuff slots. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if you can clarify that or not, but let's assume that that's the case. Just make MC and BWL bosses only have 8 debuff slots, and all of the other ones have more. I think that would make sense just as much.
Mm-hmm. I love reading chat right now. They're all just saying you're not allowed to be a feral druid. But the funny thing is like there is a portion to that is true, but that was part of the fun of vanilla in a weird way. I think they should leave it alone.
Feral druids were really bad in vanilla. They just were bad, but they're actually really fucking good now that you have a bunch of 2017 gamers playing it and they're figuring shit out. The best in slot helm for ferals is called the Wolf's Head Helm. It's a level 40 blue helm, and it's best in slot for feral DPS all the way to the end of BC. It's level 40. It's a blue helm.
Because no one would have figured that out.
You want me to explain it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you know how energy back then worked? It would tick 20 energy. It would tick. Well, as a feral druid, you would spec Furor, which when you go into cat form, you spawn with 40 extra energy. So even if you go out, if you're in cat form and you have 0 energy, if you leave cat and go back in, you have 40, right? Power shifting. Combine that with the helm, now you shift into cat with 60 energy. If you do it at the precisely right time, right before an energy tick, you shift into cat with 80 energy. From 0 to 80, repeatedly, unlimited thristlety. That's essentially what it is.
That's fucking mind-blowing right there.
Yeah. So as a druid, you stack mana pots. You stack the, your mana is a huge thing as a feral. Yeah. So imagine the rotation is extremely complicated, but you're constantly refilling your energy.
Did you raid as a feral druid in vanilla?
I'm raiding on it now. The vanilla rotation for a feral is harder than any rotation I've ever done on any expansion. But that's only
actually
vanilla.
So funny.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Hilarious.
So it's a level 40 blue helm that adds 10 spirit and the equip effect, and it's better than any helm, even in BC. Burning Crusade, because the effect still works. Isn't that nuts?
That's the kind of crap I want to see. I don't want to see any of that go, because that's the fun part about getting to go back and play it. And I played a warlock. My life sucked in vanilla. My life was awful. All I did was put up Curse of Elements and watch some 14-year-old mage dunk on me and scream in Ventrilo like he was the fucking shit. It was awful. It wasn't fun until BC when I got to press Shadow Bolt and poop on everyone's chest. But the thing is if I go back and play a Warlock, I want to be Curse of Elements bitch again, because that's what it was. And figuring out the different things with gear, figuring out the different things with specs, that's the fun part for vanilla. And going back, if you're a player who didn't get to experience it, it's going to be a headache, but it's also going to be a whole bunch of fun. I hope we see it again. And because, there are more things than just that one thing with the feral druid that Chance just mentioned. And I think that exploring all of that with all of this knowledge that we have, all of this hindsight that we have, and like you said, we're all a hell of a lot better at the game now. We've all been playing this game and we've all communicated about it. The internet exists now. You used to go on ThoughtBot. Obviously the internet existed, but it wasn't the same. You went on ThoughtBot. It wasn't the internet yet.
ThoughtBot.
Yeah. ThoughtBot, yeah. Remember that little thing around the name and everything? And then you click on an item and didn't it just have a bunch of screenshots of people with the item? I was totally into that.
Yeah, that was some shit right there.
Is ThoughtBot gonna come back? Didn't
I hope so.
Yeah. Let's fuck Legacy. I want ThoughtBot back. I don't even want the vanilla. I just want my fucking search engine back. All right.
Well, it was amazing. You just said that one thing. You just type in that one thing right there.
Yeah.
No community news, nothing. Just the search bar.
So let's say everything stays the same. Add-ons are also more advanced, and we already started to talk about add-ons a little bit. Do you think we'll see things if I remember correctly, Quest Helper was the add-on, and it didn't happen until it was pretty close to BC. I feel like that Quest Helper actually came
The
out.
best, like the first like real Quest add-on that they had was Carbonite, which is the best one.
Carbonite,
Oh, yeah.
dude.
Carbonite happened in like middle to late BC, and then they actually made it a legitimate thing in Cataclysm. So, I mean, obviously, like having all the new add-ons and everything like that is going to completely change the way that people see the game. And so will having, like, I mean, I was talking about before, like you have people who it's literally their job to help people out understanding and playing the game better. You didn't have that in 2006. So it's just completely different. And obviously it's going to make certain things less fulfilling, right? It was really cool having like some sort of forbidden knowledge or like secret knowledge in the game that nobody else knew about. Like with the helmet, right? As an example, like nobody would know about that back then.
No one knew about it.
If you knew about that, you were a god, right? And so everybody had at least a couple of those little things if they were high-end players. And I think that's something that probably won't be as much of the case in legacy servers, because people are just going to kind of communicate and tell each other what to do and all of that. And that's disappointing, but there's no real way that you can get around that.
An unfortunate truth is vanilla, if they release it as is, right, as it was when it released, it still will not be anywhere close to the same thing. Like, just because the community is so different, gamers are just different, people are, like, way more connected, people have forums to check, you know, there's streams, like, all these different things. It's gonna be different, hands down. There's gonna be the best specs. Are gonna be like it's that simple.
You think? But overall, you think people are gonna like it, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, as long the main thing that I'm looking for in Blizzard's next announcement is who they announce is the team that's going to develop this.
They started.
That's the most important thing.
They started recruiting on the Blizzard website, on the career page, server engineers and developers. Just for the classic part. It's like one of the questions was like, please tell us what you think about classic servers. It's like,
right, yeah.
I mean, like, also, like, 19 twinking, 29 twinking, 39. I don't know if you guys ever twinked, man. I'm so excited for that. Did you ever do that?
It was so much fun.
You're not a
you didn't twink?
I always
was
thought
so much
twinking
fun.
I always thought twinking was for people that couldn't handle it at max level. Like they
or
go
for
back.
people that could handle max level and beat it and had nothing else to do.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Every twink that I've ever played against back in the day, they were all noobs.
I had this friend that I was leveling. I was
log
leveling
on for your raid.
I was leveling in Westfall.
That's it.
Yeah, but then you can. It's like
sorry,
I'd rather
Alan,
be I'd rather be a 60
we're
twink.
butting heads here.
Okay, I'd rather be a 60 twink.
Okay, what about having a 60 twink? The only thing you can really do at this point is log on for BWL or AQ40. You know, you have your raid scheduled up, you've got all your mats, you're ready to go. Now what?
Yeah, there was no Titan fortune back then, Asmongold.
I mean, you just go do AV. You go do AV. You go do Warsong Gold.
What if you already have your rank? What if you already have your rank 13 gear, dog? Rank 14.
Well, then you queue in, and then people send you tells like, "Wow, you're such a special boy," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know I am. It's great." It's like that's what it's about, right? I mean, that's why you post it up in Ironforge with like your nice mount, all your good gear on, sitting there so everybody can inspect you. I mean, come on, don't give me that face. You know,
I'll give you that. I'm gonna give you. I did do that. I did. Well, that's the thing. Like during actual vanilla, I was not good. Hands down, I was not good. I was clicking every fucking one of my goddamn spells. I sucked ass.
Yeah.
But like 19 twinking, you're going in and one-shotting people. There's something empowering about it.
Yeah, because you weren't able to get empowered by having Nax gear and doing it at 60.
I would love to have Nax gear. You know, I would.
Right. That's right.
All you can do is show up to raid, man.
Yeah, exactly. But I'd rather show up to raid than buy it in the auction house.
Well, I'm confused. How do you not show up to raid but also have a twink? You can show up to raid, and then when you're not at raid, like there's 7 days in a week.
Like, yeah, I know, but I mean it's a more fulfilling experience. Like I don't know. I mean, like it's like you queue up. The reason I made my warrior is I played up against a twink whenever I was on a mage, and I got two shot. I thought that's how warriors were supposed to work. Like I'm serious. Like it's not skill based, right? And I understand. Like talking about vanilla and being skill based is a little bit.
Vanilla's not skill based at all.
Yeah, right. But I mean, come on, these people like. You would do twinks, and they wouldn't even know like what their abilities were, and you knew everything, and you just killed them. It's like
there were some bad players.
Yeah, it's like baby seal clubbing. It's shameful. I don't know.
I was way better at hitting Sinister Strike than the other twinks. I was way better.
Sure. I'm sure.
Way better, dog. There's some crazy shit you can like at 19, or you can have a level 1 rogue and like get full agility and chance and have like an 89% chance to dodge, or some crazy shit. Yeah, you can do some crazy stuff in vanilla.
Remember back in BC whenever they had that for like full avoidance and you could have rogues tanking Gruul? Yep. That was so funny.
Yeah, there's a video of a Swifty like haystacked or some shit, and he just had the craziest attack speed. There's some cool stuff. I'm sorry, we got off topic.
Yeah.
Well, but all of this stuff is very exciting, and it's not really off topic per se, but it brings up the question. We already started to talk about BC. We've talked about vanilla a little bit. How far do you want to see the servers go? Right. If they're, do you want to see them? Because personally, I agree. Wrath is where I would want to see it stop. Yeah,
I want to see Cataclysm.
Really?
Yeah.
Cataclysm was, in my opinion, the most balanced PvP arena expansion.
I like Season 8. You didn't like Season 8? I thought Season 8 and 7 were good too. You don't think so? I felt like they were balanced.
They were balanced around the viable classes.
Okay. I mean, I also really like Cataclysm PvP. I think that really like making a server just for PvP. Yeah, I'd love to see Cataclysm.
I mean, that's right. I feel like
the first 3 expansions, it makes sense for those to be like the original trilogy, and then that's also before they completely change the world. And I think that's really where I draw the line. But at the end of the day, too, like after all of the after they made a Wrath server in like 5 years from now or something like that, yeah, I'd love to see a Cataclysm server.
Yeah, I'm looking for a Legion classic server. You know, I want to play some Legion.
Come on, dude.
Come on. It's my favorite expansion. I really want that classic server Legion.
So when the new expansion would roll out, right? Do you expect your character to still be 16 vanilla, or do you like server transfer them to the Burning Crusade?
That's a good question, because that's the thing. If you do progression servers, you can't let these people keep their characters 60s. And even have them transfer to the newer 60 servers, because those servers are going to be at the very beginning of the patch. Your gear is going to be, let's say you're in tier 3, right? What do you do with those characters?
Well, no. Here's what they could do: is like look at D3, right? So like each season comes out, and you could view the expansions, like the progressive vanilla server, the progressive BC server, the progressive Wrath server, as the different seasons. And you could also look at the the off-season server where people have their characters like after the season is over, and it could just be moved over there as like kind of a holding thing. So you could have like a holding server for all of the vanilla players after the first set is done, a holding server for all the Burning Crusade players and Wrath of the Lich King players. That way, it wouldn't force the progression on anybody, and at the same time, it would give them a way to continue playing the game that they want to, or move forward and play the game in the next expansion.
No, I personally don't know what are the difficulties of just holding a server, like running a server and everything. Is that expensive at all?
Probably not that bad. At the end of the day, I think that the thing that's really complicated is actually just getting them up in the first place. But I want to bring up a point, and this point is one of the reasons that I never thought that we would see legacy servers. And I'm starting to think that it's wrong now, but all of a sudden we've talked about having like 4 completely different rule sets for these servers. You're going to have multiple servers for each of the rule sets. And then on top of that, we're like, we'd like to kind of maybe see a PvP one that we're operating on Cataclysm. That's so many different rule sets. You're going to have retail on top of that. Do you think we're dividing the player base too much, Chance, by having all these different servers?
No. I mean, I don't think so. I really think that a lot of people are going to come back to vanilla, try it out, realize it's a little not as how they remember. I think a lot of people are going to quit or not get max level. I think that's going to happen. I think a lot of people who play WoW currently are going to play both and just be happy for and welcoming to the extra bit of content for them. Yeah. God, I'm sorry. I'm thinking it might split the viewer base.
It could a little bit, right? And I think that anything is going to split the viewer base. The first thing that I think they should do is just bring out the Legacy Classic servers, see what happens, and how players react to that. If people don't really stay on the Legacy Classic servers, maybe it's not worth making a Burning Crusade server for a while, right?
That's the thing, though. What if it doesn't necessarily split the viewer base? Maybe it's more so just like they're both connected in a way. I don't know. Does that make sense?
I think the best way for them to allow people to play on the classic servers, I don't know if you agree with this, I think everybody's kind of saying this, is that if you have a subscription to WoW, you're able to play on the current servers, the live servers like Legion or Battle for Azeroth servers, and also the legacy servers. So that would allow you to go back and forth, and that way the two games could borrow from each other's populations, and it would be beneficial for both of them.
I think that's the best way to do about it. Like, just one subscription grants you vanilla servers and the current servers, and that's great. Like, you can have 1 or 2 raid nights on Classic while you do your progression on the normal servers, and it's like you have everything of both. You get more content, and everybody's happy.
So I made the assertion, I want to see what you guys have to say, that whenever they bring out legacy servers, WoW subs will be higher than they've ever been.
I think so too.
I agree.
Like, the fact that like, I haven't seen, like, I've only seen maybe 2 or 3 Reddit posts hit that high, and the WoW subreddit ever since has had like threads go like front page every day. Like, that much. That's much hype in the game right now. Like, the classic servers are gonna come back. I'm actually scared.
15 mil. 15 mil.
Damn. 15 million.
How do you guys think it's gonna do on Twitch?
Great. I think it's gonna be doing amazing. Because you're gonna have you're gonna have a lot of people that are going to play it that are old WoW players. Like, you look at like Lyric Summit, like like everybody.
True.
I mean, a lot of people have played WoW at some point or another. Are you really going to expect them not to play the classic servers? Of course
also think about this.
Yeah.
How is it going to be for streamers getting stream sniped?
Oh, so I was talking about that before.
We're playing on role playing.
Yeah, I'm going to play on a PvE server. Right? I think if people like intentionally harass over and over and over, maybe Blizzard do something about it, right? But other than that, I don't really think there's going to be a big change.
Yeah, there's some pretty awful shit people can do in vanilla. I was there. Something a lot of them like to do is they like to mind control you, and then so say you're trying to run into UBRS as a rogue.
Oh yeah.
They'll put a frost trap there, and they'll have a flare, and they'll be spamming scatter shot, and they'll spam scatter you into mind control, and they'll jump you off the edge, and they'll just keep you there. And they won't ever let you leave unless you take Spirit Res. However, they'll have a group of people waiting at the Spirit Reser just in case you do that.
It sounds like you're speaking from experience.
No, I am.
I'm sorry.
Well, literally, okay, let me just tell you. Literally last night, I was on Esfan's stream, all right? He was on YouTube. And I'm just in his party. I'm not streaming. I'm in his party. I told him I was going to go to Winter Spring, for my Onyxia attunement. That's what I was doing last night. And there was a team of 4 rogues, 4 mages, 2 Ellie shamans, and they scouted the entire fucking area just because they knew I was in Winter Spring, motherfucker. Winter Spring. Who the fuck goes to Winter Spring? And they were all. That was it. That was horseshit. I couldn't believe it.
Well, that's the thing. It is like, obviously, I mean, Blizzard already has rules for griefing, right? And if you're gonna hunt somebody down and attack them and grief them and like get a huge group and like run them down and do that. What?
No. I mean, hey, look. At the end of the day, we all know those rogues that are ganking all the streamers right now on retail, right? Because let's be honest. You can talk about vanilla having some problems. Legion has some problems as well. Legion World PvP is actually probably the most broken world PvP has ever been. I'll say it right now. It's busted. It's terrible. It needs to be changed. And I think they've already addressed the fact that it is going to be changed. But Legion world PvP is the worst thing I've ever seen in World of Warcraft. I'll say that right now.
I agree.
Okay.
It's like,
but there's ways for you to get around it, right? And if there's no way for you to get around it, I feel like if you're not able, if you're preventing somebody from playing a game for like a really, really extended period of time, maybe there should be a discussion had, should Blizzard deal with that or not, right? And if like you're going to do that to people that are streaming the game, that's going to make the game look bad. I don't really see a positive that comes out of that. But at the same time, I don't really think they should overly like punish people for that kind of stuff either. Like, what do you think?
Well, I mean, hey, like the whole thing is right now, just for anyone who doesn't know, who has like the sheer grace of some entity does not know that like there are certain legendaries right now. Most of them are things that allow you to stack a buff on yourself, and they can one-shot people. I look at Sea-Doo, for example, who's one of the best players to ever play the game. He's one of the best PvPers to ever play the game, and he will go onto a Blood Death Knight and get one shot by a rogue with Fan of Knives. That is not good PvP. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You also need to realize a lot of people that are playing Legion, they haven't really ever done an instance PvP. Their only impression of PvP is world PvP getting one shot.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
And then I obviously am very invested in PvP. If your reaction when you get one-shotted by someone in World
When there's
PvP
nothing
and
you could have
can't do
done.
anything, when there's nothing you could have done, go, man, I should go PvP. Nah, it's not. It really isn't.
No.
And it's different. It's different when it is a thing that can be countered by gear, and you know that to a certain degree, but you can one-shot with those legendaries on particular classes. I'm thinking Death Knights. I believe it's the Frost Death Knight one.
Cold Heart.
And the Rogue one as well.
The shoulders.
The shoulders, the Mantle of the Assassin or whatever. But the thing is back in the day, could you one-shot someone in vanilla? Yes, but what was the remedy to that? It was maybe you were playing a class that just got one-shotted, or it was, hey, get better gear. And then that reigned true through BC and Wrath of the Lich King.
Well,
and that was fun.
I don't think that you can really apply that same logic, right? Because we're kind of like talking about two different things, right? I mean, like, if like what sort of said happened is like you got 4 rogues, you got 5 druids, and some elemental shamans. It doesn't matter what gear you have.
Yeah, you're dead.
You're dead.
Yeah.
And so, if that kind of stuff is happening, on the classic servers for players, I think the smart thing to do just for streaming is just play on a PvE server, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if Blizzard did try to stop at least a little bit of that, or at least the very extreme versions of that, because it doesn't really make the game look good.
Yeah. Also, with the World PvP and Legion, I logged in for a bit on retail, and I was like, I feel like dueling people, because that's actually always been the thing that's kind of gotten me to log in at first. And then when I'm logged in already, dueling people, maybe someone will invite me to a group or a raid. That's how it's always been in WoW for me, right? You can't even duel.
No, it's really stupid, because like you have the stat templates, but there's no place in the game for you to duel.
It's
right?
it's a waste of time, and everyone knows it.
Yeah, it's really disappointing.
I mean, it's such a socializing thing for me.
Right?
So that's how I socialize in the game.
And like, what was it, Stormwind? Like at the gates of Stormwind. Then before that, we had Ironforge. Like they were all like every single expansion had like the dueling spot. Remember whenever you were able to duel inside Ironforge? People would do that all the time.
Well, here's the thing that I want to throw out there. So the reason that it happened, and I still totally disagree with it, but here's the reason that it couldn't happen. It wasn't only the stat templates. It was the stat templates and on top of that, honor talents. So the reason that they got rid of dueling is because let's say you and I, Chance, are fucking around. We're doing our world quests, and it's like, hey, dude, duel me right now. Let's activate all of our honor talents and become more powerful, and then just stomp on the entire world. You could then somehow find a way to manage to bring that into raid, and it could break PvE. So that was the logic to it. But you know what? Like, even if you didn't give people honor talents or something in duels, still keep duels in some capacity is how I feel. I hope that we see duels come back when we actually do get to Battle for Azeroth.
Well, here's 100%. What they should have done is they should have just made a zone that PvPers can go to that has a dueling area. And inside that zone, there would be stat templates enabled, and all of the normal PvP restrictions would be in place. And that way, you wouldn't have to worry about legendaries being overpowered, people being undergeared, or anything. There would just be an area where stat templates were added, and it would also prevent a potential thing like with what Rich was saying, is people using dueling to make world quests go faster. And at the end of the day, well, I guess people don't like me saying that in chat, but either way, it doesn't matter.
Dueling should be allowed.
It's a fucking world quest. Who cares? Okay, you're gonna do it 30 seconds faster. Oh my god. Does that really break the game? Of course not.
Yeah, like,
at the end of the day,
Legion missed out on a PvP zone, right?
At the end of the day, it doesn't.
I don't know. There wasn't like a set. Like obviously you have these world quest hubs in Legion, but there wasn't like a Winter Grasp or an Ashran or a big zone where people could just go there and just PvP and have all these set rules that you could add into the game to prevent legendaries to be powerful. That would have been nice.
God.
Legion was different in that way, right? You kind of are using the entire landscape of Legion over and over again for your world quest instead of having a hub. Yeah. I think that worked relatively well. I think that's a system that I hope islands somewhat feel like that when we get to Battle for Azeroth. The main thing is certain things like dueling definitely want to see them come back. The other thing is I want to see gear come back as well. I think, and I want to touch on this, and I don't think we're done talking about legacy servers, but while we're in this area, I really do want to hear your opinion, Chance, on this. The rule set change that's coming with Battle for Azeroth, and that the basic idea to that, and I'm sure a lot of this is in response to the things that we've seen with Legion World PvP LoL, is the fact that you're going to be able to toggle yourself on and off for PvP. You're actually going to be able to flag yourself. No more PvP servers, no more PvE servers. I don't think it's definite yet, but they're talking about it. How do you feel about that, SodaPoppin?
I feel like I don't I mean, I don't know. Like, you don't know until it's live, but I will say this. I feel like I really want streamers to like get a lot of shit from their chat if they're not PvP toggled on.
It probably will happen.
Like PvP toggled off Dan's game. And I don't want that spam to ever end until it's toggled on. Then I want to see PvP toggled on. It feels good, man.
When you said that.
Yeah, I have no problem with PvP.
And that's
I love
dude, Asmund go dunk some people in World PvP.
And I'm telling, and I'm saying this like this is something that can be clipped and sent to me someday when I'm getting butt fucked. All right, suffer. Okay,
all right.
suffer.
Get ready,
it.
Chad.
Clip it, boys. Clip it. Yeah. So
there you go.
Let me ask a bigger question. What would it take on live servers for you to come back?
More content, more people being interested in the content.
That's
no one gives a shit. Like not enough people from my stream cared enough. I'm just like, okay, I mean, I get more viewers doing variety. More people want to see that. They don't even want me to play WoW. I mean, you can imagine that kind of weighs down on you.
You give the people what they want, man. I mean, at the end of the day, like, you stream for entertainment. You stream to entertain your audience. If you're not entertaining your audience, you do something different.
At the end of the day, man.
Oh, did I say it again? No. No. Oh my God.
I love it, man. No, I love it. It's your thing. I love it.
But like, obviously,
would
you be inclined to stream the actual expansion if classic servers are up? Yeah, right?
Oh, for classic servers, yeah, no, for sure. Like, if classic servers are up, you can bet your ass I'll also be playing retail.
That's the thing. That's I think that's going to be the main consensus of people.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing both.
That people get bored of classic. All right, I got ganked enough. Let's go live.
Well, like that's the thing. Like, the high-end competitive side to World of Warcraft is always going to be the latest expansion.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that being said, if I'm playing classic and I'm doing that, of course I'm gonna be playing retail. I'm gonna push rank 1 and 3s. I may do PvE a little casually. I was pretty good during Emerald Nightmare when I actually played, but I'm not. Yeah. And then there's classic, and there's just so much WoW content. You level your 60. That in itself is 3 weeks worth of awesome content. Assuming I don't get ganked too hard while leveling. That's gonna be tough. I already have a route. I already have a Saren I'm gonna level with, I think, and we have a leveling route that farms.
So for the people that didn't level in vanilla, how long is it actually to level in vanilla from 0 to 60?
Because depends on your knowledge. You can go with Joanna's like the vanilla leveling guide. If you go by that, it can be like 2 weeks, but it does get really slow later on. Like after your 50s, like you kind of run out of quests. You really do.
Talking about like 2 weeks.
Oh, dude, I remember.
24 times 14
grind mobs and
for
shit.
2 weeks.
50 to 60, a lot of people just grind.
Yeah, I remember doing that. Like coming home, getting a Gatorade, getting some pizza, and killing bears in Westfall. Or not Westfall, Western Plaguelands.
Yep.
All day.
It was so much fun as Frostmage too. I honestly think I'm probably gonna end up playing Frostmage again on vanilla. The AoE farm there just felt so freaking good. Individually loot every single mob.
So 7 days playing time is average for 60. Is what your chat is saying.
I forgot how long it took me.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what the slash played. I just know it took me like 2 weeks.
Dude, I definitely took me more than 7 days.
I think my first one was like 20, but I'm not sure. I have to look it back up again.
It's tough, man. My first one was months.
Oh yeah, but I think that I think that overall, like, the classic is going to be better for live servers too. Like, I absolutely feel that way, because you're going to have people that come back to play classic and they're like, yeah, I'm not really a big fan of this, and they play live servers. Maybe they like that, and having both of the things available might keep more people engaged.
Yeah,
I can see the ways that, like, having classic, I could see all the different possibilities where it could kind of fuck over WoW by like splitting the viewer base. But I really think overall it's just in the end going to help.
Absolutely. A rising tide floats all boats.
And that had a lot to do with the frustration with a lot of people as to why. Because, even myself, I'm convinced it's going to help WoW, whether it be retail or anything about WoW. I feel like it's going to help the cause releasing these servers. And that's why it was so frustrating, because it's like, we want it so badly, and it's going to help everyone. Why is it not happening? That was it was a lot of built-up frustration behind that.
So here's the other interesting thing about it. Go ahead, Alan.
There was a thread on Twitter that you and Tally were talking about, Zach, about the Twitch directory or whatever. Whether you thought it was good to either split the games, as in like WoW Classic and like the current WoW, or just have WoW Classic and current WoW in one Warcraft directory, and then just let it be like that. Like, what do you think?
I think they should be the same.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I mean, here's the way that I look at it, and I actually wrote a big long post about this, and I never posted it because I just read it over and I'm like, yeah, this is boring. But the way that I looked at it, right, is that they're both the same game. It's better for WoW if WoW has 100,000 viewers than if WoW Legacy has 40,000 and WoW Battle for Azeroth has 60,000. It's better for visibility. Twitch is huge for advertising games nowadays. And the more viewership they can consolidate into that. What?
No, what? I'm not laughing at you. You reminded me of a funny moment. I'll get to it in a bit. I'm sorry. Go on.
Okay. All right. So it's going to be real good, and it's going to help the game more if they put it the same. All right, now I got to hear it.
Okay. The reason private servers were banned from streaming on Twitch was, in a way, it was going to happen eventually, but the reason it got banned was because, remember when World of Warcraft was split between different sections on Twitch? There was World of Warcraft Classic, there was Cataclysm, MOP.
Yeah.
I went under World of Warcraft Classic while playing Phoenix WoW. I had 3 times the viewer count than World of Warcraft WoD.
It doesn't look good.
Yikes.
It doesn't look good at all.
I did that for 3 days, and that was when they had enough.
The thing is too is you're also kind of using the World of Warcraft and like the Blizzard title and name to then get players onto something that's not actually their game. So it kind of shoots itself in the foot. But that you were talking about,
servers, it makes sense that they change that, right? I mean, obviously they can't have you broadcasting private servers. I mean, for the obvious legal reasons, but for the official Classic servers, I think it would be great if they were combined. I think ultimately for every stream and for every person, it's their own responsibility to create content that's compelling and engaging and fun for their audience. And if a new dungeon comes out or a new raid comes out, I'm going to do that new dungeon or raid, even if I don't really want to, because I want to show those people that new content. And I think that's the responsibility for each person that's creating content. And if people aren't doing that, no matter what it is, that's their own problem.
Well, to that thread as well, one of the things I actually jumped on that thread and I pretty much said, do you think Blizzard would rather have one game that's absolutely killing it on Twitch or have 2 games that are lost in mediocrity?
I think one game.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that there's any question about it. So I think that they will end up being the same directory on Twitch for sure when it does actually come out. And I think that that's better overall. You go into the directory, it brings more people into the directory, and then you actually get to it already. If you think about WoW, it's already split in a certain way. Like there are PvE streamers and PvP streamers all the time. If you want to watch PvP,
and
you look through the directory and you choose.
You find somebody, right? It's going to be obvious. Like maybe what they could do is they could make a little button inside the directory that said if you were playing Classic WoW or the current WoW. Maybe they could do that, but I was about to say it. But almost, I don't really want to see any sort of a change.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the streamers will come together and they'll put in their title what they're doing at the time. Like you'll type 120 at the beginning of your title if you're doing 120 stuff at the time, or 60 if you're doing 60 stuff at the time. I can see that happening, but overall, keep it as is. Dude, I was just daydreaming, man. Doing UBRS with a large group of streamers. Dude, I'm fucking excited.
Dude, that's really awesome.
You gotta join
I've been playing it off stream, but I'm just thinking about doing it with all the streamers, dude. That's gonna be
imagine the streamer that fucks up. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. But
I'm
no,
so
no,
excited.
we're making a guild, man. We're making a
Yeah,
guild.
dude,
You gotta
I'm
be in
joining.
it.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
You joining?
Alliance or Horde?
Yes, Alliance.
Alliance is
Come
well,
on.
Paladin Sack is like really broken in OP, and it's
Perception
Well,
is
it's-
very good too.
yeah, Perception's OP. Dwarf priests have Fear Ward, so if you remember, like
Right.
depending on what race you are as a priest, you'd get certain spells. There's a lot of things a lot of people
Dark
forgot
shadows.
about. Remember, weapon skill. You have to train. It costs 10 silvers. So if you want to fucking learn how to use one-handed swords as a rogue, you have to go to Undercity and fucking train it. All right,
right.
and then you got to level that fucking weapon skill. Yeah, you guys, there's a lot of shit you got to do that a lot of people are not going to remember at all.
Well, they will.
And I can't
They're
wait.
gonna learn. Yeah,
I
they're
remember
gonna
not
get so
having-
mad, man. It's gonna be
I didn't have
amazing.
enough gold to buy like what were they called? Were they called grimoires for warlock
Grimoires?
pets? Yeah,
Grimoires?
grimoires. That's
Yeah.
what they were called. I wasn't old enough to read yet when that game was out. But yeah. I remember I actually like I would never have enough gold to like buy the friggin' things to have my like succubus learn how to do things. I'm excited to have spellbook again and actually have ranks of spells as well. That was always super fun in PvP. I'm really excited for when BC comes out as well. If it does,
Yeah,
if it ever
Arena.
does. Like,
It
it's gonna
will,
be so
man.
much fun.
I
to PvP.
guarantee you it will.
That's the only way vanilla is going to progress, right? Or keep it alive. Like if you slowly start releasing expansions of those classic servers, and that's a way that Blizzard could make money too, right? Like if you want to progress, you got to buy a transfer to the Burning Crusade. server or
Oh,
something.
don't fucking do that. If
Don't
Blizzard,
give
if
them
you
I mean,
guys
I don't
right
know,
now,
man. I was thinking.
We already paid for the game. Like we already paid for the
My
game.
bad.
And like, yeah, you know, if it's attached to maybe paying for retail, I'd be fine with that.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
here's-
that's fine.
Here's something I want to ask because I want to hear y'all's
Okay.
opinion. Would you guys want wargaming, not arena, just wargaming and arenas? Like, would you want that in vanilla? The
Well,
ability to
before-
wargame people for fun.
It wasn't in vanilla, right?
See what I'm saying?
No. Yeah.
You're right. It's
So
not-
like, I mean,
the ability
the
to
way
wargame
is, like-
friends.
yeah, I'm the kind of person that I don't like the like slippery slope. And I know that is kind of a fallacy or whatever, but I just feel like any one little thing just opens the door for a dozen other one little things. And before you know it, it's a different game. And
Mhm.
I think maybe to go with your point, maybe on the like if they did something like a holding server, they could have a couple of those quality of life increases on that server, right? And just not on the progression servers. So they could have like maybe wargaming, they could have maybe AoE looting or something like that, maybe a different PvP system. But on the progression servers, I'd like to see them be as close to the original experience as possible.
I agree 100%. The thing is war games, if I was going to pick and choose which things I would want to move over and actually be those quality life changes, that is one of the things that's on the top of my list, 100%, because it allows you to play vanilla in a way that is different than you actually did get to play vanilla. It would be a huge improvement, but I agree we just shouldn't add anything, because then all of a sudden we're going to have Raid Finder. And you know I love my LFR, chat. You
That's
know I
right.
love my LFR.
I'm very biased.
Keep
because
it away. Keep it the
I'm-
fuck away from pristine servers.
I am very biased because I, as a streamer, will have a very hard time dueling anyone in vanilla without a giant crowd of fuckboys all around. Like I'm on camera. So Wargame would be my own instanced area to do a 1v1. So I'm biased in that sense, but I want to hear y'all's opinion. And it makes sense. Okay.
Well,
I was just
yeah,
curious.
I mean, that's the same with me. Like, I'd want to see a couple of changes just to make it easier for me to stream too. And, like, of course, but I think if they start making changes just specifically for streamers, obviously that could be its own can of worms as well, and it could be used in different weird ways. But, I mean, maybe if they had, like, another server where they had some of those quality of life increases and the progression server's not having it, that'd be cool. But, I mean, again, like, it's not even an alpha. It's hard to know what's going to happen at all.
I feel so bad for like the people of directing making classic WoW, because there's so many angry people with such strong
There's a lot
opinions.
of angry neckbeards.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
Just waiting for them to mess up.
And it's an open discussion and everything, but to a lot of other people it's not.
It's a spirited
It's not a
discussion.
This is
discussion.
like life or death.
Yeah, it's not an open discussion for some people. I have my opinions, but a lot of people hate me for my opinions. I can see.
I know how that feels.
I just want to go down this line of thought as well with the big thing is people always ask for certain features that we had in vanilla, right? They start to ask for certain things like whether it's talent trees or yada yada, asking for things that we haven't actually played through in a while. Do you think now bringing this in, we already talked about how it's going to affect the player base, but now when you're re-educating an audience to the way that gear worked, to the way that abilities worked, to the way the talent trees worked, now that it's fresh in the mind of the player base, do you think that that's really going to affect what we see for future expansions? Not necessarily Battle for Azeroth, but maybe the expansion after that. Do you think if enough players are like, this is awesome in vanilla, we want it now, and we literally just played it, it's not just nostalgia, do you think that we can see major changes in the live version of the game?
Yeah,
That's a real. I never thought about that.
yeah.
Yeah,
They can. Yeah, it can inform each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
because the nostalgia has always been a huge factor. Like, I'm not going to lie. Why do I love vanilla? Because I was 14 and it was the first goddamn video game I played, and it was sick. I didn't need to leave my house at all. My mom was making me dinner. She was bringing it to my computer, and I was shitting on people. And the thing is when you talk about those memories, they're charged by just that, the memories. It's like when you think about a song that you saw at a concert, you're going to like it more than if you just heard it on the goddamn radio. So I feel like that it was a real argument to say, hey, you might not know what you actually do want because nostalgia's fueling this plane. But if you just played it now, if you literally just played it a couple hours ago, you're actually talking about real experiences that you had, real mechanical experiences that are important to you. I hope that we start to see the game speed back and forth.
I think that's going to happen for sure. I mean, like, because people are going to see things. They're going to be like, yeah, this isn't nostalgia. We actually do like having to run to the dungeons or something like that. And even Blizzard can observe player behavior and not observing it from like a 10-year difference, because obviously gaming was completely different in 2006 than it is now. So if you have something and it's working in 2017 in vanilla, there's not the argument for nostalgia. It's that this is actually working now. And I think there's going to be a number of things that are going to be like that.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what they're gonna be, but I never it seems like it's not like a difficult thing to realize, but I actually never thought about the fact that classic servers come out and things are working, they could feed off of that and apply it to the new expansion.
That's right.
And apply changes that people loved in vanilla to the later expansion. Yeah,
From what we've heard too, when we're actually looking at Battle for Azeroth, it sounds like this expansion is doing a really good job at looking at all the shortcomings of Legion. Like, Legion introduced a bunch of great systems that were terrible. And it sounds really counterintuitive to say that, but certain things that were actually put out in Legion, they were really good ideas that just didn't work because they need to be iterated on more. And Legion kind of worked through some of those problems, and Battle for Azeroth may build on them. I'm excited for that. Yeah. But the thing I'm more excited for is the fact that if they listened to legacy servers, what else will they listen to? And if we actually are loud enough, whether it's on Allcraft, they said something about Titan Forging being changed, didn't they?
That's right.
Well, yeah.
So Zach, what exactly is happening there?
They're making it for like the Argonite infused pieces. You can't Titan Forge those. You're not able to. I don't know, like, I'd be okay with a little bit of Titan Forging, but I just feel like there should be like another way to upgrade your armor besides Titan Forging. Like, I just think it's stupid where, like, you get a piece of gear and then somebody else gets the same thing, puts in the same effort, and theirs is just like a lot better than yours. It just doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah, if it's not progressive, it doesn't make sense to me either.
I don't have a problem with like the idea fundamentally. I just have a problem that there's no alternative.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but different things like that, if we do have a player or a vocal base right now of people saying they want the change, maybe it will happen. So, guys, when we do get to that point in the show, just a little bit later on, make sure that you are sending us your questions. I'll be looking on Twitter. We'll be reading them in Twitch chat as well. That's going to be a little while off, but make sure that you are actually making your opinion heard, because for some reason they're listening to us, crazy people who play their game.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions that I've seen, so make sure to type, if you want us to read it, just on Twitter, #Allcraft, or tweet them directly at us, and we'll check our Twitter feed. But
you know what I'm excited for?
What?
Legacy
PvP videos.
Dude, Swifty,
they're gonna come back.
Incredible Warrior Tricks,
like
dude.
Their name and then 1, 2, 3, and 4, and like that's all it is. Like, oh my god, those are the
easy.
That's some real pop.
And the Disturbed and Dragon Force and all the old music. Oh my god, that's gonna be amazing.
I currently have some PvP videos open. I was listening to before I hopped in this call. Yeah, I'm listening to I'm watching some newer videos on the private servers. There's some good PvP videos on the private servers.
Really?
Obviously, yeah, they don't get a lot of views, but they're good. I like watching them. I like the music too.
Yeah,
they got the old school music taste.
I remember, like, that's what it used to be. Like, you'd go and you'd watch those PvP videos, and you'd be like, and like as soon as you finished one of those, you're like fucking pumped, and you go queue for like a Warsong Gulch or something. Like, that's what it was about. Like, I feel like making that type of content, like, it really like invigorates players, and that's something that I think's really been missing. Like, ever since I would say like middle of Mists of Pandaria, that same engagement to like make that content and make content like that really engages people and gets people to want to play the game, that hasn't really been as much of a thing. And I'm hoping that with private, I can't, with legacy servers, classic servers, it's still so weird to say. With legacy servers, we can see that come back.
I really hope so too.
I can't believe I'm this excited about it. Like, the thing was I never thought it was going to happen. And now all of a sudden, I can't wait until, like, all of a sudden I'm getting yelled at by Asmongold and Raid. Like, I've never been looking forward to something more. And I'm excited for Battle for Azeroth as well. Like, I am. But it's just going to be completely different. Like, I honestly feel that's why I really, really, and we've already talked about it, but I want to see vanilla servers come out after Battle for Azeroth is where Legion's at right now, right? Like, when I log on Legion, I'm farting around on it all most of the time. I still show up for Raid because that's what you do. You don't ditch anyone. At the end of the season, I'm still playing threes a little bit with whenever I can find games. But at the end of the day, I would be on vanilla right now. At the end of the day, I would be on vanilla right now. And this would be a great time to be leveling that tune in vanilla and trying to push for different things like Scarab Lord. And by the time you get to the point that you're happy with your vanilla tune, I would love to see a new expansion come out and the roles pretty much reverse. You're grinding on one, you're relaxing on the other. Exactly. I want to see it go back and forth like that.
And that's something that they can do for like 5-6 years, right? Because they have a whole new release cycle that they can do, and it's going to keep people engaged with the game in a way that they never have been before. I think it's going to be incredible.
What are you going to play?
What do you mean? What am I going to play?
What class are you going to play, man?
I don't know.
This is a tough question.
Real hard decision. I think I'm going to go with the Human Warrior.
Oh, it's actually easy for you? What the fuck?
I'm going to play Boomkin.
I thought you were joking.
Play Boomkin.
Oh, I played Human Warrior for 11 years.
Okay, I guess.
Even though I really want to tank. I really want to tank as a warrior, but at the same time, I feel like I watched the person who got me into the game played a balance druid, and I watched him do these like massive starfires. I'm like, oh, he just one shot someone. That's so sick. I want to do that again.
I'll tell you right now, when it comes to PvP videos and whatnot, there are a lot of Vertnies and Drake Dogs and players at that skill level out in World PvP now. So you better have engineering. You better fucking get your reflecting engineering trinkets, reflect some spells. You better have all your engineering helmet. It's rough. This is not 2004 vanilla anymore. It is a fucking different ball game.
It's gonna be
very different ball game. Yeah.
It's actually kind of scary. That's why the RP servers is great.
I'm telling you right now, for all of you that have not played the private servers, it is Monka-S as fuck. It is a different game. Yeah. No, it's fucking scary. It's a different game.
Man. So my problem right now, and I actually feel like this is a good discussion to have for people who are watching who maybe didn't play vanilla, and what class are you going to play? I really do want to play Warlock when it gets to BC time. But do I want to be Curse of Elements monkey again? No, not at all.
Well, not at all. You don't have to do anything.
Well, like, the thing is
like, the best part.
As guild leader, as someone who is going to most likely be part of Loot Council, how much gear do you think you're really going to give to the Curse of Elements bitch?
Well, we're not doing Loot Council. We're doing DKP.
Oh,
Streamer
DKP minus.
DKP. I'm actually gonna set it up. I will.
Yeah, dude. I respect that, Asmongold. I respect that a lot. Yes, DKP. Dude,
Chance, do you remember when we did the imitations of the classic servers, but like in a little raid group of like 10 people?
Oh my god!
And then like
that was
Chinglish was playing a warlock, and I felt so bad for him because his DPS was like a 7%.
Worthless class. Worthless fucking class, man.
It's not worthless, though.
It was pretty worthless.
It's not okay. You need one. You need
How
one.
How are you gonna summon people?
You need one to summon. Yes, you need one to summon, and you need Curse of Elements. Like, it's straight up, the mages are all-stars because they are standing on your back. That's the only way that they make it to the nets of dunk. I'm going to play mage. I'm going to play Frost Mage. I'm going to
Alan and I were playing, like level 60 classic, or like we were playing retail World of Warcraft in WoD, or was it MoP? Alan, I think it was WoD.
WoD, whenever you guys
and we just, WoD. We stopped, we did, it's called Project 60. We play the expansion of WoD, and we just stop our characters from leveling, and we 10-man Molten Core with like WoD talents.
Yeah, that was really fun.
It was basically, it was really fun at first. It was really fun at first, but it definitely is weird. It's not the same. It was your budget vanilla. So the best way you can stream vanilla as a streamer. Project.
Yeah. I remember trying to do that. Like, I've been trying to solo dungeons all the way up to 60 and then make a guild and do all that myself. I'm gonna try and do all the dungeons with 40 mans, but using only really white items.
That is fun.
Someone was just messaging me something about a series that they were watching called World of Roguecraft, where it's a bunch of rogues just wearing no gear.
Oh boy!
Yeah. Full Wildheart. They kill Maydai in that video. Yeah. It's a good video. There's a lot of really good ones. Vertney, Drake Dog, Maydai. I was a huge PvP video fanatic back in the day, so I know them all.
Maydai, that was me. I was all about that video.
Yeah.
So, I want to bring it back just a tad to the what are you gonna play question, because I feel like that a lot of people are trying to figure that out right now.
Tough.
Like, is it because I'm trying to figure it out? I'm split between Rogue, I'm split between Mage, and then Warlock's like slightly below that, and then Paladin because Paladin's broken.
Yeah. So when it comes to down, every single class is viable because it's a 40-man raid. You kind of need a little bit of everything, except Boomkins are probably the only thing.
Yeah, Alan.
Worst class
sorry,
in the game.
bro.
Yeah, Boomkins are bad. They just don't scale well or something. They don't get any benefit. Yeah, they're not good. Everything is good. Ferals are good. Rogues are good. But the best DPS in the current patch in Light's Hope, it's BWL. It's Fury Warriors and Rogues are the top DPS. I know Mages do really well as well. Warlocks, I thought Warlocks are pretty well rep. Esfand is a rep pal who funnels himself a bunch of gear. He does decent DPS as a ret. Everything's pretty viable. And it's a 40-man raid, so pretty much everything is kind of needed.
Well, even if you suck, I mean, like, nobody's going to notice.
But that. And also, there are some classes that people do stack.
If people want to fight them in vanilla, which one, if you say top 3 classes or top 4, which one would you say?
Top 4, Fury Warriors are insane DPS. Rogues are... Everyone's going to fucking play a rogue. I mean, rogues are good. Paladin healers, priest healers. You only want to bring like 2 resto druids to a raid because rejuves don't stack. So you can imagine why you could have too many restos. It's not really good. Can't have shamans on Alliance, so I don't know anything about them. Shadow priests are doing pretty well. I think warlocks do alright. I mean, like, it all depends on the patch, you know? And there's other people that know a lot more than I do. Like, I haven't even done high-end raiding yet at 60 for the most part. I've only talked to people who have, and I've leveled a bunch of characters. And I've got pre-raid best in slot. That's how I am. That's my current status on level 60 right now.
So speaking of
pre-raid best in slot.
Speaking of patch, you brought up one of the elephants in the room, Chance. Do you think we should start all the way at where we started on day 1 in vanilla and get patches? Okay. I feel like that's what most people think. But
I think that's most people want. I just don't think they're going to do it. Like, the best thing that we can hope for is tiered raid releases. Like that,
how would you do it? That's the question. Like, how long would each patch be out? Is the question. Like, so Chance is someone who really thinks that we should have it as each patch comes out over time. How long do you think we should spend in each patch?
That's a good question. That's something that should be decided by the entire community. I personally think it should go a little faster than it did in vanilla. It should. because people are way better at the game. There's something else I really worry about, and that's making sure enough people select Alliance and enough people select Horde. Because this isn't 2004 where you're going through the races and you're picking which one, like role playing, like I want to be a night elf, or no, like you're thinking in your head, what race has the best racials? You're thinking of that stuff. It's
I don't think that's
different.
going to be an issue.
Well, paladins and shamans, paladins are a million times better than shamans in PvE.
I just don't think it's going to be an issue. I think
you don't think it's going to be an issue?
I don't, because there's going to be so many people playing each faction for nostalgia, and a lot of people. I mean, you don't really need that high-end gameplay in vanilla, right? I mean, like that's one of the big differences between like vanilla WoW and like current WoW, is like those big differences between the characters and like the different classes. Yes, they're substantial, but most of the raids weren't even tuned to have 40 players even there. So I don't think it's going to be that bad.
What do you mean? Most raids weren't even tuned for 40 players to even be there.
All right. Let's look at Magmadar. Like, what does he do?
Okay.
What does he
Magmadar. Doesn't he have those two hounds next to him?
No,
or is that someone else? That's Golmag. I don't remember. Tell me.
Yeah, he does a fear.
He does a fear, that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the whole thing. I mean, do you really need 40?
Molten Core is extremely tank and spank.
Okay, we're going to stomp on it. We're going to stomp on it. It's going to be absurd. Like
Molten
now,
Core is a joke.
Nax is the end boss, right?
It's really, really easy. And I think a lot of the raids, especially with the damage that people are going to be able to put out, you're not going to need 40 whole people there. So
when you're talking about AQ40 and Nax, though, like shamans don't even have Bloodlust at 60. You know that.
Okay. Yeah, I know they get it at 70.
Like they don't do anything. Well, paladins, their fucking buffs are insane.
No, I'm not saying that paladins aren't good. I'm saying that people are still going to play either one. Like, I mean, you look at the different Nax bosses. Like it's not really that complicated. Didn't Nax get released on one of the private servers and it got cleared in a day?
I don't think so.
Really?
A day.
I heard that from somebody. I could be wrong. But if you look at something like Thaddeus, which is like considered one of the most difficult fights, you just go left or right. I mean, this isn't.
But that's still hard for
people.
Some people
Still screw that up on Maiden, dude. Zach, people are still screwing that up on Maiden.
Dude, they are, but at the same time, it's not like the mechanics are really that difficult. And if anything, if you have people screwing it up, maybe it would be better if you didn't have 40 people there.
Oh, you know what? People in chat, I'm actually seeing a few people saying things that are it's really important. We've talked about it before. Zach, I believe you were the one who brought it up when we were actually at BlizzCon doing the live episode. Computers are a hell of a lot better. So some of those raid mechanics that maybe even did feel hard in vanilla, we were doing that with like 2 frames per second. And now all of a sudden you're going to be playing vanilla instead of playing it on a potato, at least a toaster. So I feel like it's going to be a lot easier in that regard as well. So that's just another thing that's going to compound upon itself.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think all the bosses are going to be pretty easy. And people aren't really going to play. People are going to play in a lot of ways for nostalgia, especially at the beginning. Like,
yeah,
I'd be very surprised if people didn't go back and play like their, whatever their main character was for that time.
So end game PvP though, and like end game, the high end good players, I feel like are going to be Alliance because they're going to focus more on racials.
I think that you're completely right. Actually,
that's what I'm trying to get at.
Oh yeah, no,
and it's also a snowball effect. So.
I don't know how much of a snowball effect it's going to be.
I could see it being really bad.
Really?
I mean, people will go in and like, oh, but shamans have Wind Fury. Like shamans have some cool stuff, but it just doesn't compare to paladins. It just doesn't. Wind Furying though is fucking awesome and makes some good PvP montage footage. Right. That's what it does do. But at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of the top guilds and whatnot, maybe not. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I'm going Alliance because all my fucking friends are going Alliance because all of them want to have paladins. Every fucking one of them. I prefer leveling as Horde. I played Horde during vanilla, but I have to go with the pack. I got to play with all my friends, right? So we're going Alliance. That being said, I don't know a lot of people that aren't going Alliance.
I don't.
Swifty.
I know that whenever I
so
say
that's why
Alliance,
I brought it up.
like I get a bunch of Alliance Dan games in chat, so there's got to be at least a lot of people that are going for Horde. And I mean, obviously, like we're kind of more in-game minded, right? Because we've played the game a long time and we kind of know that kind of stuff. But I think for the majority of the player base, they're probably not going to care. And I think that you are right, though, that it could create an issue where it's kind of like a snowball effect where like all the best players start playing Alliance and then all the players below that start playing Alliance so they can play with the best players. And that's happened on live servers too. But I hope that it's not that bad, and I don't think that it will be all that much. But maybe I'm going to be wrong. I don't know. Well, I think that's an important discussion to have.
It's also the sheer fact that the first thing that Chance said is something that definitely rings true, because when I think about when I made my first tune on Vanilla, I went, okay, wow, that cinematic was awesome. That bear with the dwarf, that was cool. I'm gonna make a dwarf because that was cool. I want to play that. Right? Mm-hmm. I didn't even look at the racial. I didn't even know what the racial was for the longest time. I ended up rolling a tune later on and paid attention to it, but still, I don't even know if that was vanilla. Like, we just didn't know what was going on. And now, yes, with the player base being more informed, maybe we see more people go Alliance. Alan just typed in chat though, like 1 for Alliance, 2 for Horde. I don't know if that's the best way to actually check, but it seemed pretty even.
It's just,
you should do a poll on the Allcraft Twitter, Alan.
It's something people just have to kind of accept. Like, you really try to reconnect with your mindset you had when you first started playing vanilla, and then compare that to your current mindset, and then apply that to every fucking person that's going to play WoW Classic, and realize how different it's going to be.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be insanely different. And, you know, I hope everything goes smoothly. It's gonna be interesting, man. I'm excited though. Very excited. I'm worrisome.
What worries you?
There's some worries.
What worries you?
What mainly worries me, my biggest worry, I mean, well, obviously I'm gonna worry about myself as a streamer. How the fuck is this game gonna go when it comes to streaming it? Right? I don't know. I'm telling you right now, I guess if you play on a PvE server, I guess you're fine, but then you can't world PvP, and that makes me really sad. I want to be able to world PvP.
I was gonna do like one server and like maybe do PvP on like 1 day a week or something like that, and that way it's not like really serious, and then just like do the rest of the time just doing PvE.
Yeah, I mean, streamers are gonna have to probably be definitely PvE oriented or focused. World PvP just won't work as a streamer. It just won't. It will turn into a giant battleground. If I'm getting ganked by 10 people, I'll be like, fellow White Knights, unite with me, and you'll like come to my aid, and they'll show up. Then you got a 10v10, and then 10 more will show up on the enemy side, and you'll just this will turn into a giant AV in the random, like, everywhere. Yeah. So that's what it'll turn into. Eventually, that'll be pretty fucking annoying. It's like, I'm just trying to do UBRS. Yeah. Or I just want to gank 2 people.
Yeah, it's not a good time. And that's why I already made the decision. And is it kind of like a bitch move? Yeah. But I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's more of a realistic move.
I'm pragmatic.
Yeah.
We have to get Scarab Lord, too. We have to.
Well, that's what we're. So we're gonna. So yeah.
That's all I care
so
about.
Anyway,
Scarab Lord.
All right, We're gonna try and get it for 5 people, and we're gonna try and get it for 5 people all at the same time. And I got to figure out the whole quest line. I'm gonna look that up, how to streamline it, how to get everybody the different items, and then we're gonna rotate through it with everybody, and hopefully get 5 people Scarab Lord whenever it comes out. I've already planned everything out.
In theory, can't we get even more than 5 people Scarab Lord?
Yeah, but realistically, if we did that, then we'd have people from other groups that'd be able to do it faster than us, and they might ring the gong whenever we didn't have everybody ready.
Who are our 5 then?
We'll see.
Whoa. Give me in that. Give me in that. I want to be Scarab Lord.
We'll see.
You know what?
That's, I mean, that's assuming. Let's just assume I'm not in Asmon Gold's guild. And, you know, I have my guild.
Are you gonna ring the gong?
Oh shit!
Oh
shit!
Dude,
man. We'll have to wait to see how everything goes.
I have to find the picture, but so when we did Allcraft Live, there was a point where I said something like, "Yeah, I can't wait to try to get Scarab Lord," and then Zach made a face, and someone made a picture, and it was like a caption. It was like, "I'm gonna try to get Scarab Lord," and then it was a thought bubble over Zach's head, and it said, "Shut up, bitch! I'm the Scarab Lord."
Well, no. I mean, Soda. I mean, like, you've been playing vanilla for the longest time. I mean, obviously, you'd be in the running to get Scarab Lord. Absolutely.
My knowledge of vanilla is extremely low, though, when it comes to endgame. It's not as high as I'd like it to be.
It's probably higher than most other people's. I mean,
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that have some pretty strong opinions about vanilla WoW that haven't played since it actually was out.
Yeah, or they've never played it at all.
Or never played it at all. Even worse. Exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, like, yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to like making the guild, getting everybody together, and just like the bullshit that is inevitably going to come out of that. It's going to be a real show.
I'm so excited for it. I mean, we've already talked about a few of the things that we want to see and talked about it maybe affecting future titles, but I really want to hit home now. God bless you. I'm glad you finally got that out. That one looked really bad.
Oh shit. Damn. Are you okay, Chase?
Yeah, I'm great. That felt really good. That's been
the last
I've been
one
waiting on
looked
that for a long
amazing.
time. That was a big one, man.
So, all right, back to vanilla servers. So, we're gonna take questions from everyone in just a little bit here. But the big thing that I want to talk about are things that we want to see happen. We started to talk about it, but let's just hit it home before we actually start asking questions to people. So, Papa, what are the most important things to you about vanilla servers that you want to see happen for any developers that may be watching or anything like that?
Fuck you. This is a tough question.
It is tough.
Right on the spot. Most important thing for me is listen to the community. Make sure you're listening to the community and how they want it to be done. That is what I want to be mainly prioritized. If they don't want something, don't do it. If they want it exactly like vanilla, give them what they ask for.
All right.
I have my opinion, but overall, I want it to be catered to the majority.
All right. Don't listen to the community. They don't know anything. They're not game developers. You are.
You think you do, but
keep
you don't.
the game exactly the way it was. Don't give in to any kind of bullshit. No auto looting. Nothing. Okay. Give the people what they need, not what they want.
Chance.
You okay, Chance?
It just, you made me look like I'm sitting here catering to like people who want LFR and shit like that.
LFR, no, Chance wants LFR.
I am more so saying listen to the community and don't add things like LFR, because I feel like there could be someone that would be like, this is a great idea. They'll love it. Like,
I
no,
think they'll vote for
it.
That's what I'm worried about. That's why.
No, that's what I want them to not do. I want in the end, I think if they listen to the community, it's going to end up just being like Classic. No changes are really going to be made. I mean, look at your Twitch chat. They fucking dance game at literally the smallest change of any at all. So if they just listen to the community, yes, it will probably be a copy minus a few game-breaking bugs.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Bugs. I want Wind Fury to go off 6 fucking times. Like, the thing is like at the end of the day, I really. I don't think they should change a thing. I actually agree with Zach. The main thing that I want to say is open up the door for progressive servers, because I miss BC just as much as I miss vanilla, and in a lot of ways. And I also would love to play Wrath again. There's so many things that I would love to do again. There really are. And I think when we actually get to titles like BC and we get to titles like Wrath of the Lich King, that's when we'll really start seeing different things that were inside of those titles that we should be bringing back and applying to the current retail versions, because there were things about that game that are phenomenal that we don't have anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I just hope they make the right decisions with making it in the way that people want it to be.
Yeah. Well, I totally agree. And right now, we have a few things that we should be talking about, guys. But I just want to say, if you want to start shooting over those questions, #allcraft, or you can go ahead and tweet it at any of us. I'm going to be looking at Twitter, and then when it actually comes to that time,
I can read chat a little bit too.
Yeah. I'm going to start looking through those questions
before we get into those questions. I'm going to play the trailer for Battle of Azeroth, because I feel like...
one last thing.
All right.
Okay.
I don't have as much time nowadays to play vanilla, so something I really need is a purchasable boost to 60.
Ooh. How much do you think they should cost? Like maybe what you'd have to do.
I don't have enough time,
is every single time that you did LFR on retail servers, you gain 1 point, and once you got 40 points or 60 points, then you could actually get a level 60 boost on the classic server. What do you think about that?
Well, and then also LFR.
But if you did pet battles, you could get fractions of points, and you could put those together, and then you could get then you'd be able to get a full level 60 boost.
Transmog should also be unlocked as well.
Yeah,
definitely
so
want
what?
transmog. Another great thing that could be added.
Flying. Let's add flying.
That's a
Flying.
good one. Yeah,
Flying. That should be added in vanilla.
310
We
speed.
need
You don't
flying.
even have to buy
Yeah,
it.
I agree. I 100% agree.
That's right.
You know, I need Titan forging.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like, if you want to go back and do Maradon, there you got to have a
Like,
chance.
I gotta
for
farm
getting
not
something
only-
good.
Not only Iron Foe, but a Titan forged Iron
Yeah,
Foe.
Titan Forge Iron for 1% of 1%.
Exactly.
Infinite content.
I'll never be bored.
That's it. That's it. You'll never be bored. I mean, if it's out there, that
Amazing.
means people are going to do it.
Guild heirlooms, BOA gear.
There you go. BOA.
There's a
Airlines.
million things. Mass resurrection.
Oh shit!
You know what?
Dude?
Have
I
fruitful
need-
travel. Remember that?
Yeah. I don't want
Yeah.
to run to these dungeons. Shit. Fuck trade chat looking or like world chat like looking for tank. I don't need that. I need some dungeon finding. Come on, dog.
Yeah.
I want to queue up. Let me queue up for
Yeah,
Skono runs.
you don't have all day to play this game. You got a
Yeah.
real life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Garrisons. Okay,
Oh.
enough trolling. We're done.
Holy shit!
Sorry about that, Blizzard. If you're watching right now,
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
back to the serious feedback. Back to the serious feedback.
If this comes into the
Easy.
game, it's your fault, Chance.
Yeah.
You know it, dog. Oh me.
Yeah, when there's LFR in vanilla servers, blame Soda Poppin'.
So-
That's right. You want to
Hey,
run
Alan.
that trailer, Alan?
Yeah, Alan, what were you gonna do?
We're gonna run that for the people that everybody has watched it, but we kind of before we get to the questions, I want to talk a little bit about the trailer because it was pretty intense.
Good.
I've rewatched
I
it
got
like
some
10 times.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna. All right, so you're gonna roll that, and then after we're gonna be talking about it.
yeah. I'll
Alright,
roll
cool.
it
Alright.
in 3, 2.
I'm gonna go
1.
pee.
All right.
Ours is a cycle of hatred. Alliances forged and broken. We have paid the price for sharing this world. And we have forgotten what makes us strong.
Close ranks! Advance has won! Lordaeron will be ours! My king, we have her cornered.
Keep firing!
watching it.
Sick.
Yeah. I'll be completely honest.
Oh
Though. I
my
hate
God.
Sylvanas.
Whoa, what? After that?
Yeah.
I think she looked badass after
I
going
hate her.
Banshee form.
I'm sorry. Who do you hate?
Sylvanas.
Sylvanas is a fucking awesome character.
I know.
What
like her.
she is a
Sorry.
badass.
What?
And that trailer is incredible.
It's
that trailer does
amazing.
so many things so fucking well.
She's a bad guy though.
Yeah, she's an awesome bad guy.
Yeah.
I love the Joker and Batman. I want to see the world burn.
That's
All right,
fine.
yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that.
I
But
love Sylvanas.
Anduin's not a little punk anymore, which is pretty cool.
They did the best they could to make him not seem like a little punk.
He grew up a
He's
little
been
bit.
a little punk for a long time. He's
I
been a
feel
little
bad.
punk for a long time.
I feel bad. Like Sarfang went down by some bitch ass archers.
Yep.
Like, and come on, like that.
Yeah, I
Starfang.
know.
I mean, what's this? Is this a joke? Come on.
Well,
I
how
mean-
do you feel, Chance, about it going back? Because this has happened before. We've had callbacks to the trying to hit that Horde Alliance feel of the game again. How do you feel about it actually going back to that? That's the core of this expansion. There's not even a little bit of an extra sprinkle of pandas or anything like that. This is only Horde versus Alliance.
Don't fuck it up. I'm ready for it. Just don't fuck it up. Give us some duel. I want to be able to duel. I mean, if it's a PvP, it seems like a PvP based lore expansion. You would imagine the PvP would be good to match it. Don't fuck it up. Please don't fuck it up. Fix the
see.
problems in Legion. So bring duels back. Make them actually a thing, because dueling is really fun to log in and chill outside of a city and duel people. You know, you're doing some content while you're hanging out. It's like, that's one of my favorite things to do in the game. Fix that. Bring that back. You know, I want to see 3v3 be balanced and fun and not retarded. What else? PvE wise, I did a pretty good job PvE wise in Legion, right?
There were some balls
Tumas
that were
Sargeras
dropped,
is a waste of time.
Really?
Like it's a waste of time. I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna sit there through 400 wipes on Avatar to get a piece of gear that's worse than your heroic Titan Forge? Yeah,
That's
right.
the big problem. That's the big problem with PvE. Zach hit it
Yeah,
on the head.
right.
Zach hit it on the head. The big problem with PvE, and they already somewhat addressed this. I think Ian did a really great job of addressing it. The big problem is you have this legendary system that comes in, then all of a sudden you have it's like, okay, so tier is going to be 6 pieces. So now you have people doing weird stuff with tier. Then you only have a few pieces left, and you can get better upgrades out of Mythic Plus. So it's
not
all
even
these new systems. They
It's not
kind
even
of
about that. It's that like heroic takes literally less than 10% of the effort than Mythic does. Heroic you can do in 2 hours, less than 2 hours, whenever you want, and it's going to be pretty much a done deal. You do Mythic, you got to be on a website. You got to apply to a guild. You got to have DKP. You got to be in the loot council. You got to be friends with people in the guild. You got to log on every single day. You got to make sure that people like you. You got to make sure people like you so they give you loot. And then maybe they don't give you loot anyway. And then they're giving it to their girlfriend. And now you're sitting there. Now you're wiping. Somebody DC'd. Oh, now let's take a break. Check Warcraft logs. Somebody quit the guild because you just gave him a good piece of gear. Now he's going to join a better guild. Now, it's just there's so many damn problems with raiding. And unless you're going to give somebody the best damn gear in the game, ain't not a lot of people going to go through with that. Like, I mean, that's it.
It's true.
Yeah.
They need to reward the players that do the high-end content more, I think. They really want casuals or people who don't go nearly as hardcore to almost be kept up with Mythic Raiders. Just like, you're not quite there, you know, they have better gear, but the gap needs to be bigger.
Yeah, because if it's not, then there's no reason to do it. Like, people think that it's like, why I always use this example, like, why you buy a Lamborghini? Like, you're gonna go 200 miles an hour, you're gonna go to jail. You're not buying a Lamborghini to go 200 miles an hour. You're buying it to park it outside Taco Bell, and then people are taking pictures next to your Lamborghini. Then you come out and be like, "Hey guys," they're like, "Wow, is this your car?" I'm like, "Yeah, it is. I've got the other one in the shop." You know, and that's what it is. It's the prestige. You want to look good in front of everybody.
Yep.
Like, did people forget human nature? Like,
it's true.
Of course. Like, you're gonna put in more work, you get more effort. You put in more work, you get the same stuff or worse. You ain't gonna do it.
Yo, I legit.
Dude, your analogy blew my mind because that's what you do in Ironforge when in BC when you had all the gear, you had the work lives. You were like, "Yo, what's up, bitches?" And you had,
I even had specific spots. So if you go to the Ironforge city, right, and there's the bridge that connects the auction house to the rest of the city, I would stand. There's 6 different pillars that you can stand at. You want to stand at facing, I guess, the bank. You want to stand on the frontmost right pillar, because that way people that are looking at their mail are going to run by and they're going to run right under you. So not only are you above them in the game in terms of better gear, but you're also physically above them as they walk under you. Right? and so there are all these things that people care about. And no, it's not funny. It's not funny.
It's no laughing matter.
This is not. This is a serious game, and people that's what people got into. I don't understand how Blizzard forgot about that.
Bro, I legit, Zach, got my after BlizzCon, got my hands on a Lamborghini to try to get a picture of you standing outside of the Lamborghini next to Taco Bell, but you didn't pick up. But you didn't pick up. That was all I wanted. That would be good. I DM'd you and I didn't see you, so now I just have a picture of me next to it, and it's not as funny, so I'm gonna delete it.
Oh no.
It's just not as funny.
Next time for sure, I wouldn't mind that.
Did you guys notice the number crunch?
Yeah,
it's so good.
Sure.
It's so good.
I only saw a YouTube video and I wanted to hear what is it going on. The numbers were as small as 200.
Yeah, it was so Wrath was
numbers are going back to Wrath of the Lich King. Basically.
It was about 1.5K, but that was at level 110. So maybe at level 120.
I'm so happy about that.
Actually, I love it.
That shit up back again. It's going to be like entry level Mists of Pandaria at the end of the expansion. The problem is that you,
it's gonna be from 15K.
Yeah, no, much more than that. It'll go up to probably 100K by the end of the expansion. Easily.
I think I saw when I was playing. I was playing on a Hunter. And I think the biggest crit I saw was in the it was low 1,000. I had a really big crit for 1,000.
Yeah, low 1,000.
As far as HP pools,
that's at level 100. For one, those are not in-game best geared characters. Those are just characters with the pre-made gear. On top of that, those are also level 110 characters and not 120 characters. So you're going to go through 10 levels of damage boosting. Then you're also going to go through, because they already said they're going to go with 4 raid difficulties, and then if they go with Titan Forging on top of that, that's effectively 5. So you're going through effectively 5 different tiers of gear in the first tier. By the time that you get through with that, it's going to be no comparison. If you look at the beginning of Legion, people were doing big dick 700K. Right now, if you're doing 700K, you're the tank. It's going to go back to the same as it was. The problem is that the scaling is the issue. And they have so many different incremental increases.
I think that the stat squish could go even further. Call me crazy. I think it could go even further down.
I wanted to. I wanted to go down to you hit for 40.
I don't think that would be bad. I think the thing is...
You mean mortal strikes for 40?
All right, maybe
or auto attacks.
I liked how it felt. I liked how it felt on the Noodle 111 character in green gear. I wish that those were the numbers that I saw out of a top level character.
It's just you hit for 10 million. What is that? Everybody's had $40.
Nothing should be in the millions.
Everybody, boss health, right? But besides that, but it's you've had $40. You know how many 40 is? 10 million? That's hypothetical. That's
you're right.
Theoretical.
I just disable numbers. If I were playing, I would just disable them. It's so hard to follow. The highest I'm accepting towards is 10K being the biggest crit you can do. Whoa, PogChamp. That's when you PogChamp. 10K.
That's right.
That's to me, anything lower than that, I'm good. I just don't want it to go past that.
I have a feeling they're going to have the HP pools reach 100K to be closer to 100%. Because it was 110 for 15K for 110 when I was playing it. So I don't know, with gear and later tier releases, could maybe reach 100k HP.
Well, if you remember,
it's going to be the same problem.
Yeah, if you remember the stat squish that we had like last time, it was like, okay, the stat squish happened, everything was fine, and then by the end of the expansion, all of a sudden numbers blew the fuck back up.
Well, that's because they have 4 different tiers inside one.
Yep.
And 5 if you count Titan Forging. You can't do that. I mean, this is going to happen every other expansion. And it also, like, it messes with the sense of progression when every other expansion, you go back down to 0, basically.
Yeah. No, he's right.
It's like it feels good. Like whenever your character is like you see bigger numbers than you saw the previous expansion.
Yep. But now thematically, it almost makes sense for the biggest stat squish to happen, right? Because you look at the way that it's like, okay, we're losing our artifact power or artifact
they need to do it. Yeah, no, I agree with you, but they need to do it even more. Like they need to just take another 0 off of all the numbers and then fix the scaling, and it's going to be great. I think it'll be much more. I don't know if it's like rewarding, but it'll be much easier to process for players, and much more satisfying.
Yeah, I think the thing with stat squish that gets complicated is now fixed as well, right? Because you think about like tunes that you're actually leveling up, right? But now with the fact that the world scales, that problem is kind of out the door because the scaling somewhat makes that make sense. It can take that into account. So I think stat squish really freaking hard right now. But chat, I definitely want to know what you guys think about that as well. We're going to start taking questions from you guys in a little bit. I saw a shitload on Twitter, so I'm going to be picking through them just a little bit. I think now's the time to start grabbing some of these questions.
Let's go through here. What about corrupted blood? What about corrupted blood incident? Should things like that be fixed beforehand? Remember that, like, whenever people were like bring that like that dot into Ironforge and killed everybody?
Corrupted blood. Yeah. Those
that.
Events.
Don't fix it. Don't fix it.
So the thing is, they did fix it. That's the thing. They ended up. It was a bug, or it wasn't a bug. It was an exploit, or I shouldn't even say an exploit, right?
It was just unintended.
It was unintended, and they brought this debuff to the cities, and everyone just started dying. Of course, they fixed it as soon as they could, but I would love for them to have an event and force it to happen again, and then fix it after like however long it took them to fix it.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let people experience it one more time. Yeah, was it terrible? Right? Could you not res? Yes. You couldn't play your tune. But the thing is a lot of people didn't get to do stuff like that. Let's not change things that people want to experience again.
Exactly.
Like, I really want Blizzard to look at this classic WoW server as like, kind of like, have fun with it. Don't worry about upsetting too many people. Right? When it comes down to like. Think about how many people in current WoW would be upset if they fucking had that plague just rain on the city. Think about it.
I need to bring this up. Go ahead.
In that sense, I would love for them to bring that plague back and just fucking kill everyone.
Yeah.
I'd love
it. It's like the old zombie invasion.
Yeah. Kill everyone in that sense.
What do you want to bring up, Rich?
Someone just called me out, and I think it's only fair to bring it up. It says Anduin literally cries in the new trailer, and his army gets wrecked. What the fuck are you talking about him not being a bitch? You're right. I think I'm wrong.
No, that's not true at all. Like, what are you talking about? Like, people.
It was a badass. It was
people cry in Lord of the Rings. I mean,
it was the badass. Those are some badass tears. Diminishing returns or nah is one of the other questions.
Don't fix it.
If it was in the game, just the same. It's the same.
You can't change too much stuff, or else it's not classic.
I will say this: do you remember how it was, Asmongold? I agree. Don't change it. But do you remember how it was?
I remember, like, it was like I was dead a lot. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. No, I agree. Leave it as is.
What was it? What was the diminishing returns?
I'm just saying you can be. It's bad. Like, you can be sheeped. I'm hibernated for fucking 30 seconds sometimes, man.
It's a bad time.
Yeah, it's some booty. It's definitely some booty, for sure.
What do you guys think about doing extra content beyond Nax for vanilla servers, like creating more raids? People are asking about that. I think it'd be cool to do on a separate server, but not as like a normal thing. Yeah,
I mean that's a good thing they could do. Maybe having like 2 different servers, or not 2 different servers. Maybe having one. Fuck. I'm not gonna get into that. That's later.
Yeah.
This is the whole. It gets back to that problem too. If we make too many servers, or we just breaking it up too much.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, there's so many questions, guys. You keep them coming right now. I'm trying to read through them all right now. Make sure I don't read anything stupid.
Do you think they should have one
out loud.
more single binding of Talisman of Binding Shard? That was like that necklace that guy and I think the Guild was nerfed looted, and it was like a legendary neck that wasn't supposed to be in the game. Do you think that they should have one more of them drop on the classic servers? No, I think that's stupid.
Wait, what was it? I actually don't know that.
Okay, so basically there was an unintended drop that occurred in Molten Core, and it was actually a legendary item that only one player got in the entire world. And after that item was it dropped, then they removed it from the game. And it was a necklace that actually had a visible effect in front of your character.
Was it super good too? Like,
well, it was like, I mean, obviously it was really good. It was like probably Nax 40 quality. I mean, it was a legendary, right? So, I mean, like Sulfuras is as good basically as like a Nax 40 or a, what do you call it? Yeah, Nax 40 piece of gear or Nax 40 weapon. I mean, give or take. And same as Thunder Fury, right?
Yeah.
So it was really good, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like game breaking. It wasn't like, oh, use this and it kills everything. I can also do questions from chat, guys, if y'all want to type some.
That's pretty crazy that something like that could randomly happen, though. I'm going to take this question, though, right now from Peter Anderson. He said, would you like to see achievements, an achievement system in Legacy WoW? Definitely not. Definitely not.
What is your reason for absolutely not?
Because it wasn't in the game then.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Achievements, actually, though, I would say, if for some reason they brought back, because the line that they said was, we are going to give you a Blizzard quality vanilla server, right? So the thing is that's up in the air. Who knows what the hell they'll do? If we start to see some features that weren't necessarily in vanilla, if we start to see some of these quality of life changes, I think achievements could be one of the ones that would be cool to see, but I don't think we should see any.
I would want achievements in. That's my opinion.
Why?
Because, well, I wouldn't even care to grind them. I just don't see it actually changing anything of the game for me, and I see other people enjoying it.
I feel like the way that achievements are added in, they kind of direct gameplay. And I feel like one of the good things about Vanilla WoW is that it gave people an open area that they could kind of create their own content and create their own achievements. And adding the achievements into the game would, in a way, dictate and direct player content and player behavior in a way that wasn't really present back whenever the game was out.
You think achievements would actually like change the way people play Vanilla WoW?
I think it would change the way that people do things in Vanilla WoW, of course, yeah.
Like, I mean, like what?
Well, what kind of achievements would they add in? I think that's the first thing to ask.
Like Leroy Jenkins clearing out UBRS by killing all the whelps in there. There's a boss in there that's typically skipped. No one actually ever kills it. Add an achievement to kill that boss.
I think that would be interesting, but I think it's directing gameplay. And I think one of the good things about Vanilla WoW is that there weren't really a lot of directors for gameplay, and it allowed people to not just play a game, but be part of their own fantasy world. And I think that's one of the big reasons why Vanilla was so successful, is you had people that didn't just play a game, but they went into a separate world. And achievements create a game sense, they create a game feel. And I feel like the success of Vanilla WoW was the immersiveness and escapism of being able to completely play in a different world that isn't defined, that you're not told where to go or what to do. It's just there are things that you could do, things that you can, achieve, but you're not necessarily told to do those things.
My argument for that is, remember how I told you before, when you're making a class, when Vanilla came out, you're looking at, what do I want to be? Like you're looking at looks. You're not looking at the racials. You're not looking at these different things these classes provide, right? You're looking at, oh, I want to be a human warrior, or I want to be a dwarf because he's in this video, or this troll because he's super cool. Like, that was your mindset. The reality is, at this point, that's no longer the mindset. You're going to go into this game. It's not, you're playing a game. You're going to play it the best way you can. You're going to look up the best way to level for the most part. You're going to look up the fastest way to quest. You might even download add-ons that might fucking help you go faster and everything. Truth be told, I feel like achievements, this 2017 or 2008, whenever this Legacy server comes out, it's not going to be the same as 2004 World of Warcraft. I don't think achievements are going to ruin your immersion.
Well,
it's not about really ruining the immersion. It's about kind of undermining the immersion. And it's not even really about immersion. It's about the feel. And I think it's like a little bit more than the immersion itself. It's being able to move over and be part of a completely different world. And inside that world, you're able to direct and dictate what you're going to do without necessarily having a lot of directors or pointers in any sort of a direction. And I think that the way that people are able to achieve things in a game like that is much more satisfying and also fulfilling.
Well, I agree with both of you. But the thing that Chance brings home very well is the idea that, it is never going to be the same. A lot of that immersion that you did feel came from the fact that it was unlike anything we've ever experienced before. We hadn't been playing it for 10 plus years. So that is definitely the case. But I agree with you in the way, Zach, where one of the things that people will experience is it feeling somewhat similar to that if they had already played it. So adding any additional factors to pull people away, I don't think adds anything. I think by trying to pelt more candy at people's faces, you're just going to get less candy in their mouth. So at the end of the day, I don't want to see it happen.
I think I'm too focused into my own head because I could never see myself giving two flying fucks about achievements and having it direct what direction I go in the game.
Well, that's the thing is that
I could never see it happening for me.
Yeah, I have like 28K or something like that achievement points in game.
Jeez.
So
I don't even know. I don't know how much that actually is. Like,
it's an unhealthy amount.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's almost won the game.
Holy
yeah,
shit.
I've almost beat the game. So, I mean, for me to say that I don't want that kind of, I've done a lot of achievements, I've gone for that stuff, and I just feel like it's something that's going to direct gameplay. And I feel like anything to direct gameplay in that way kind of subverts the sandbox, like fantasy.
So it's safe to say, if they did add achievements, you would
I'd have them
cater
all.
Towards it. You'd have them all. See, if they added achievements,
that's why I don't want them to add it, because then I'd have to get them all.
I wouldn't even do it. I only think they should be added for people like you that would actually do them, and you're someone who actually would do them, and you don't want them. Okay, so I guess you're right. I guess you shouldn't add them because I wouldn't fucking care.
Yeah.
I mean,
This
maybe
is
in general.
I guess it makes sense now.
I wouldn't be that mad, right? I mean, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, oh no, not achievements, but I wouldn't be that happy either. That's the way I look at it.
You're the one who does them, and you're like, I don't want them. Don't make me do them. Like, he has to do them. If you put achievements, Asmongold has to do it.
I have to, yeah. I mean, what else am I going to do? It's like they add in a thing for 250,000 honorable kills. It's like, fuck, all right, time to QAV.
This fucking guy. Okay. Yeah. All right. No, that makes sense. All right.
So here's another one. This is, I think this can go a few ways. So Jabawa says, what about cascading raid lockouts? Keep that from Classic or move to the 3 to 7 day hard lockout system currently implemented. I think that the thing that's interesting when you say cascading, Jabawa, is maybe if you had the reset day be different from vanilla than it is right now from live. Do you think that would be something that's interesting to explore?
No.
You think I have Tuesday for everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that shouldn't be changed.
I'm really sorry. You got to repeat what you said.
Do you think they should make Tuesday as a reset day on Legacy servers too? Because if they didn't, then maybe they could allow players to stagger out their content differently.
Ooh, that's a good question. But you guys think they shouldn't change it?
No.
I think they should. I think they should have.
Really?
Yeah, okay. Obviously, Tuesday feels great, right? But we still have Tuesday on live. Changing the lockout day would not affect that much of your experience of feeling vanilla. But at the end of the day, it would allow you to play vanilla in retail, which a lot of players will want to do.
I mean, at the same time, what do
you mean? I mean, you just don't.
The servers
Go ahead,
the servers are still on Blizzard's servers. So if they take down live servers, they probably have to take down vanilla servers. So for maintenance, I don't know. I think it should still be the same.
What if you just didn't raid on Tuesday on one of the servers? It's damn, okay. What do you think people have to raid? If you raid on Fridays and Saturdays, I mean,
yep,
they just wait.
I agree. I agree with Asmongold. I think it should stay Tuesdays. But I am open to discussion I feel like, am I wrong? Am I right to say this? Asmongold, you're not open for any discussion with any changes. It's as is, pretty much, except for game-breaking bugs.
Yes, I mean, that's basically the way that I feel. I think that's the best way to do the game. It's not like I have some sort of a fixation on it or anything. It's just I really believe that's the best way
that's
forward.
Your preference. Okay,
yeah,
that's
that
your
is
preference.
absolutely my preference, yeah.
So
I'd say that's probably most people's preference.
I want to see the game-breaking bugs in there as well, but this is a really good question coming in from Dala Doran. It says, do you guys think that they should accelerate the spawn rates for mobs for just the first few days on release, given that there were literally thousands of people? But Zach,
they're going to sit there. They're going to wait for like 3 hours to kill Hogger. They're going to fight. They're going to get in groups. They're going to get angry. It's going to be great.
That was the first thing that they said.
I know.
Literally on the main stage, they said, we want to give you vanilla without the experience that was the launch of vanilla.
No, they're going to have to sit there and kill it. They have to sit there and like fight over mobs.
I think that's a good question, though, because they already said, too. They already said that they're worried about the launch. They already let us know that they're worried about the launch before they even made this thing. They were worried about the launch.
Well, they should be, because there's going to be a lot of people playing. But I don't really think that they should change the spawn rates. I mean, that's part of it, right? It's like what do you do? Like, oh man, like now, what do you do? You get in a group. Why do you get in a group? Because you're playing an MMO. That's what is happening.
What does getting in a group have to do with Hogger and there being like?
Well, because like, all right, let's say you tag him. Okay. Let's say there's 4 other people in your group. Now they tag them too.
It's not Horde or Alliance tagging anymore.
That does divide it by 5, but there's hundreds.
That's why you have to wait for hours.
Dude, I played Warmane. All right, fuck it. Yeah, all right, play 4 hours. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. That's
what you have to do. I'm gonna fucking skip Hogger. Not gonna do that quest. I'll do something else.
You just go straight into Deadmines. You kill boars, you get up to level 10, and all the other casuals sitting there waiting for Hogger can wait there all night long while you're in Deadmines. Was it hard?
Easy.
Yes. But were you there? Yes. You got to do whatever you can.
Yeah, I'm skipping Hogger, dog.
Yeah.
I'm leveled as Night Elf.
So the next question that I see is from Mordecai. It says, thoughts on BFA, PvP, and solo queue. Now, I'll lead the charge on this one. So the big thing is solo queue was another meme request that I did not look at seriously when we were seeing everything for legacy servers. But now I will say, if you are on Team Solo Queue, be loud, be vocal, be constructive, because they're obviously listening. I think